Yeah, I don't know, that was all Michigan stuff, supposedly.
I asked Joe if he could be on Zoom. That would be unless it's an emergency. No, that's.
Yeah, but I think those were, yeah, when you were looking, that's what I was. Yeah.
I just got it off the list. I see it now. Maybe I can report one at a time, but.
It's not blocked.
Why then? Instead of both 12 feet. More, right?
That's okay. That's, yeah, I'm gonna put the. See Derek either, it's Derek out of town
I think she was working on some days, we had some two calls back to back. He was saying, we just got back, he said, I got a little print.
I thought I heard sirens.
Yeah.
With that said, for a long time, see, we had.
Did you get?
Yeah, I got two copies
Okay,
here.
okay, good, good.
If I have people repeat my.
I also have, I printed off this,
I got that.
here on- and
That is for, redoing the lines and stuff.
there's a lot of correspondence.
Did I prove it? You wanted? Yeah, I did.
Yes, yeah.
And I didn't get that because I, you know, like, this last night.
I got bigger.
You asked me about my meeting.
Oh.
And I didn't get back. I just didn't look.
Okay.
I should bring it to me this morning.
I thought.
I said, because I had a doctor's appointment. And then I moved back. No, I was.
Question on the playground equipment, I didn't just to fill out this acceptance, is that something that you would do, or
So
they would do, or?
Yeah, it's gonna be- $7,300.
Okay,
It's the plant, Parks and Rec guys, who get it's really no authority.
okay, okay.
Okay. Make sure your cell phones are muted or turned off. Meeting alerts. Okay. Roll call, recognition, visitors.
All right, Greg Bradley,
I'm here.
Tom Backers,
Yes.
Joanne Childs, Christine Johnson here, absent Joe Keys, who has COVID.
Okay, what we've got on Zoom and your.
One person, one online.
Caught up.
Yes.
Okay, disclosure of conflicts. I have none. I have none.
I have none.
Have none.
Okay, approval of the agenda. Okay, under maintenance issues, I want to move up, Mr. Lund. Is he here? I know he was out in the lawn. He was out in the parking lot there. Okay,
Okay, so you're.
and put him, at C. And then move the minutes down.
Oh, okay.
Where were you putting them?
Under guest report, special order of business, item 7C.
Okay.
Okay. And then, D would be the minutes of August 15th. Okay, public comment.
Well, do we want to approve the agenda?
Oh, I guess we could do that. Anybody else have any amendments to the agenda? Let's see, make sure I've got everything here. I do have a lot of correspondence from just about everywhere to get into and, my written reports for the planning commission report was basically a review of the master plan. We had a few copies. We just made copies for the board.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zoning report, I'll just add, Angie will not be here. I mean. Mr. Lund, I'm moving you up, right after the deputy and maintenance. So you're not sitting here for 2 hours, great. So we get to you. Roads committee,
You have maintenance down there twice.
what?
You have maintenance down there twice on the agenda?
Yeah, you got his written report, so
Yeah.
that'll be That'll be sufficient.
Reports.
Huh?
That'll be sufficient. He gets a few minutes to, express.
I will make the motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, approved as amended. Trying to think if I forgot anything. Okay, so guest report, special order of business, Deputy Creighton.
Good evening. The month of August, in my opinion, was somewhat busy for our agency. We had 78 total incidents handled by our sheriff's office, 22 of which I had investigated. I had 16 property checks, and I wrote 28 citations. For notable incidents, we only had 4 noise complaints. And then, on or about August 21st, deputy with the sheriff's office arrived at an address in Radon City to serve a request warrant. We met the subject with drug-related charges. The incident led to a short court pursuit. The suspect had been taken into custody without further issue. And then on or about the 26th, I had responded to an address in Schneider, and during that investigation, found an occupant in the house, had a outstanding drug warrant. They had been taken into custody as well. And then we also had the Heritage Festival last month. From our agency standpoint, I think that it went somewhat smooth. I think there were just a couple real tiny hiccups as far as like timing and stuff on a couple things, but we're gonna look forward to that next year. So, and I met my 40-hour.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? We have a person, the only one I don't recognize, but it's the same one, on a crotch rocket motorcycle, flying down Wilhelm, flying down Maine, whipping in and out, and, I heard from Mr. Hubble, who owns the antique place, it's all through the night, and then people are saying, yeah, they're going through all through the night. Is there any way that you can come over in the middle of the night and sit once in a while?
Yeah, I'm more than able to shift my schedule. I just gotta give them a shit and update.
Yeah, I posted, if anyone knows who it is, please report it. And there was a lot of comic, and they said, yeah, he's got a death wish, and he wants that kind of stuff, and then, but, yeah, this is really serious stuff.
There's 2
And,
people that I know of that I found a violate speed limit on motorcycles. One lives in Antrim County, the other one lives just south of here.
And this guy goes up through there too, but lots of times at 5 or 6 at night, he's through here too. Like, so, one of those things, catch him if
He
you
just
can, I
went,
guess.
he just went through town at 80 miles an hour while I was at the party store.
Tonight?
And, yes,
Yeah.
and she was saying he does it every day.
Red light.
So,
Red light. He hit me yesterday.
right
on my bumper.
yeah, I don't think it's a dirt bike. I think it's a racer.
Red. There's one of those, a red light.
Yeah,
Red and white.
he has a helmet, when I see he has a helmet, you can't tell who it is.
Okay.
Too fast to take a picture.
Well, it's a good thing it's gonna come on, so.
Well,
All right, any other questions for our deputy?
Yeah, I got one, you got 4 noise complaints, what was the outcome of them?
I don't think a citation was issued. I think that was solved just by talking to people.
Okay. Yeah, if the issue can be resolved with a conversation, we'd rather have it that way.
Are they four different or are they four the same?
I think they were all different.
Okay.
Yeah, if we're dealing with the same address 4 times, it might be a different set of enforcement.
Okay, thank you.
we have had in the last little over a year, investigations. One by the state trooper, and I looked up his name in that, and he never got back to me. Joe and I met with him on the break-ins. I gave him information with a witness signing something. He never got back to me. I called Padno's, scrap metal. They told me the only way they would talk was to the sheriff's department. They did not want to talk to the Kalkaska Sheriff's Department. They want to talk to the trooper. So that's why Joe and I got a hold of him out of Houghton Lake. We haven't seen any reports. And then I noticed Tom is trying to talk to the insurance company. Now they're saying, why is it taking this long to do it? We're waiting for reports. I don't know if you've ever
The
gotten a report.
report was turned in 2 months ago. Joe Pease gave me the complete
Okay.
investigation, and that went to the insurance company.
Okay.
That, I
And they're
handed
waiting-
it to our insurance agent, who took it personally to Tokyo Marine. So
And they're wondering why it took so long.
why it took so long?
It was an open
Basically
investigation.
waiting on the investigation by the trustees to be
Yeah.
finished. And they were waiting on the sheriff's department and the state police.
And we finally finished it ourselves as opposed to district fees.
All right,
Uh.
it just stopped. Okay, so that's
Okay.
basically the issue. Okay, I've reached out to them 3 times in the past week. And basically, what they wanted was pictures of the door that no longer exists.
Yeah.
For marks of signs of breaking and entering. Okay, which we don't have, so I talked to Mr. Olson this morning, and he's gonna contact Sharon Woods at Tokyo Marine personally and try to get this thing moving.
Does the state trooper connect with the sheriff's department? Because I have a video, I have a written testimony that I gave to the state trooper of someone who actually saw the person in the video. Got it from Village Market. They looked it up. We had the time, we had the receipts and everything. It doesn't look like anything was done about it.
I
You
have
know,
no idea. That's something.
it was given to the state trooper because that's what, it looked like state trooper was doing one part and the sheriff's department was doing the other.
Yeah. I mean, we often do joint investigations with the state police, but unfortunately I can't control, what pace they work.
So if we were to FOIA through you, can you FOIA the information from the state police?
If,
So we have their report?
if the township wants information from the state police, I would say probably contact them to the FOIA process.
So you can't do it, so you have the information too.
I have no idea if we have
Okay.
the same information.
I can give you the officer's name, I still have all my texts to him. Cause we had to get a hold of him in Hope Lake, because it was on a Sunday, we met with him.
I know I don't have access to the state police reports or their internal system.
He has the Padno stuff, if he went there, he has pictures, he has, same thing I have. They sent me copies of
All
pictures.
right.
and
I have a
keep
question for the deputy.
Yes.
Sorry, at 42 hours, right, is that your total for the month?
Yeah.
Okay, are you tracking the hours over 40?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, every minute gets tracked.
Great, like, do you know what the total is right now
That's where I'm at for this month.
since the contract started?
Oh.
Any idea?
I can't. So I thought about this the other day. I would have to go back and dig in and probably redo all my reports.
Yeah, I think a cumulative total would
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, I think we should add that to the report if you wouldn't mind.
Okay, so.
I know things are gonna slow down in the winter time anyway, but,
Okay, yeah, I can definitely get that.
Awesome.
so far we've had a quiet summer, comparatively, so,
I
anyway.
think that,
Okay, any other questions for Deputy Creighton?
there's our fire.
Okay, go back to work, so.
Awesome, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have, Mr. Van Loon with, some maintenance issues.
Okay, let's see. Had you
Is this your
sent,
report?
I had you sent, this information. I didn't get it copied soon enough. This is the trailer for the
Yeah,
water tank.
I saw the email.
Did you want a copy of this or look
But I
at it? It's,
didn't
that's
have,
the smallest but heaviest trailer we can get under $2,000. I mean, we can't get a smaller one. We can get a heavier one, but that's a single axle. It's heavy enough to carry our water tank. And,
okay, that's that 300-gallon tank or whatever.
yeah, now, that might be a moot point if we're dragging hoses around. Okay. We, the need for mowing in the township is slow due to
Is
the
this
season.
the maintenance report or
No,
is
no,
this the
no.
maintenance
What this-
issue?
Yeah, I have your written report, so get into your issues that, you want
The
to.
issue.
Okay. You don't want me to read none of this? You're good? Okay, I do now need to address a situation that has become out of hand, and I'm gonna hand you one of these. You got both sides. This was a list I made when I had asked for a closed session. I wanted this to be handled a little more privately, but we're gonna handle it how we handle it. Okay. These are copies of all the text messages and phone calls that I've gotten in a 35-day period, just at one 35-day period. And it was surrounding the days that I had asked for the closed session because I had made a record. All the ones in red are beyond working hours. The times that by the number of weeks I've worked, it's ridiculous. I can't tell you, there's maybe 70 on there, 80. The calls and texts should all be directed to either Mr. Backer, supervisor, or the liaison to the board, Mr. Bradley. There aren't no boundaries here. There's no limits. I get calls from 6:30 AM or texts till 9, 10 o'clock at night. And some of them are about low water in the jug here. Nothing that's pressing that needs to be texted to me at 9 o'clock at night. Every time I get a call, I have to stop, whether it's during working hours, whether it's not working hours, because I don't know if it's an emergency, if it's one of my children. I got a call last night at 5 o'clock from Mr. Becker. There was a report of some vandalism at the cemetery. Could I get right up there? I jumped in my personal truck, went up there, discovered it was a mistaken case, cleared it all up, and went home. But if I had not answered the phone, those people would have been sitting out there waiting for somebody. So I have to answer the phone. There's something I can do there. I've got called out on my birthday. I've got called on Easter. And there's just, there's not real boundaries here. And some of them are for pet projects. Some of the texts and what are for projects that are not necessarily township projects or township duties and requirements, things that we need done as the township before the other stuff. Some of it's for weed whipping or trimming on private property. We can't do that. I've also had a complaint told that I was being complained about for being charged for being here at these meetings because I get paid for it. I had asked from the very beginning to get me in, get me out. I'm an early going to bed person. I don't want to sit here till even 9 o'clock. But if I do have to sit here, I do expect to be paid. The Parks Committee, I addressed this last time and I used the word confusion, but it's pretty much they were lied to. I was told not to water. They were told that I refused to. It created a bunch of crap. I went to the park, chairman of the Parks Committee, had a talk with him. He said, yes, basically, we didn't know about all this. And then I received this here after their last meeting, which and this was in between. I got a nasty little note from them telling them that I was obligated to do all this stuff and I wasn't doing it and I should be told. But I was told not to do it. I was told that it was being handled by volunteers. Okay. This is a list of everything I do anyway. There's none of this stuff that isn't done on a regular basis. And the reason you can almost guarantee that this was brought to them, misleading it is the best word I can use, is because if this hadn't been being done on the accesses, you'd have had complaints. If you go to the accesses, the weeds on next door are this high, because they don't want it to look like the accesses Bradshaw. And our accesses look decent. I get told on a regular basis how happy people are with the job I'm doing, that everything's looking nice. The fact that the volume of complaints dropped 98% from the time I started working here until today says something. The fact that we're saving, and I've said this before, $50,000, $60,000 a year, sometimes it's a struggle. As girls in the office said, and you weren't there maybe, they ask me to do something, I do it. It might not happen that day, but I do it. What's happening is, like Friday, I'll give you another example. On Friday, I got texted about ordering waste bags for the dog stations. I said many times, I don't do any ordering. I don't. I pick up from the hardware store, I pick up from McLean's, I pick up from Tractor Supply, I don't order anything. The very next day, Mr. Backers got a call saying that they couldn't do something in the pole barn because they couldn't get in, they couldn't get keys, they didn't know what to do. But yet if during that text for dog waste bags, they just said, what do you want me to do? I could have told them it was Friday. I could have told them to contact somebody. You guys in the office, I refuse to give it out to anybody. That's you guys' business. There's a key box in the township hall that holds the truck keys, the garage door openers, all the extra keys. If anybody needed a key during the time I'm gone, all they have to do is say so, and I'll get a hold of somebody and we'll get them the key. But you have to tell me. You can't complain to the supervisor the day after you couldn't get it when you didn't try to get it. That could have easily been solved without a complaint to him and without the calls going around the horn. And as far as the watering and, the stuff with the parks, logically, you can assume that they take care of their own projects. If maintenance has to do it, it has to be outside the times I get that I have to do our own stuff. And this is creating a very toxic atmosphere. I wake up in the morning at 2 o'clock. I don't wake up, I roll over. But the first thing that goes in my mind is, what am I gonna have to defend myself against today? Who am I gonna have to defend myself today? And who is getting erroneous information? I had I believe what it's doing is it's creating a bad situation between the committees, myself. The incoming board is gonna be faced with, wow, how come there's these problems? And it's being created to look like there's a problem when there's not a problem. I had a run-in with the committee member yesterday from Parks. It was a very nasty run-in. So the poison is already there. She was upset that our relationship wasn't better because I don't come to meetings. And I said, well, I don't have to come to meetings. I'm not required and I'm not part of the Parks Department. I haven't missed but a couple. And she said, you missed 4. Now, how do you know I missed 4? Unless you actually went back and checked it. I mean, why would you have to know? You know what I mean? There's no reason for you to know exactly how many Parks meetings I've missed since I was reinstated for no reason. There's just no. There was a reason why she knew that I had missed 4 meetings. And so we're already poisoned there. There's already an issue between Parks and maintenance, and there shouldn't be. It was created it was created for just what it's doing now. It's toxic. It's a bad atmosphere, and it's gonna, anybody who's coming in as the next board they're gonna walk into the situation where there's a problem, and all they can say is, geez, what's going on here, and why do we have this problem? Whose fault is it? And versus knowing why it's really happening, they're just gonna know that there's a problem, and I don't know who's gonna suffer for that. I have no idea what else is being said behind my back to other committees, to other entities. I know that, it's setting up that skewed scenario for the next board. Places huge stress levels on me. I'm asking you guys to do something tonight. I know that I talked to Greg, and he had said, just talk the phone, and I did for a while. But then I had somebody who does electronics that said, you cannot verify how many of these calls are coming in if you're blocked. And once John resigned and I was reinstated, there are the 1 in 1,000 times when I really have to get a call. And so I had to unblock it. I know my job, I do it well. I have no problems going out, dealing with people, taking care of what has to be done. I can't do everything all at once, but I try to keep it done and keep everybody happy, everything looking nice, the complaints down, interaction with the community, all of that. I think I do a good job on that. I do get, like I said, I get approached multiple times in a week by people who are happy with what's going on. They're finally seeing progress. I was approached the day before yesterday over at the township hall, somebody who came and said, you're the guy who does everything. And I go, yeah, we got help, don't you? And I said, no, just me. I do believe that this whole thing was started as a stress, make me quit. To make me either get mad and quit or get mad and say something that was out of line that could have you guys go, you can't do that. It's not gonna happen. I'm too old to be baited in. I have asked from time to time, I have been asked from time to time about whatever happened after the reinstatement. Was there ever a statement, an apology, whatever? I said, as far as I knew, at that time, when I wrote this, the case may not be closed. They can't do anything, but I do believe that if that case is closed, something is in order. Something, even if it's just from my personal records, I have something that says exactly what I've said all along. I didn't do anything. And I'm wondering the performance review. What is going on with that? Are we working? Has it been?
I sent my prototype maintenance review out to the board, I think last week.
I do want to jump back to Heritage Park. We had, over the weeks, we had several complaints that, I'll just use the one lady who's there every morning. This looks like hell, what's going on? The sprinkler system was turned off for more than a month. It's dead and dying. And then golf carts and mowers were driven across the dead grass. I have pictures if anybody's interested. There's dead and there's marks all over the lawn. And what's not dead is weeds that are taller than the grass. There's been no weed whipping done. A lot of stuff that we would expect from the time out there. If it looked like that when I was taking care of it, I would have had somebody crawling up my butt about how terrible it looks. But there doesn't seem to be an issue right now with how it looks. Take a drive out there. Take a drive out there. You were out there. It looks terrible. It's not the same park that was green and mowed fresh and weed whipped all spring and summer. And in a month, 6 weeks, whatever it's been, it went to hell. Excuse my French, but it did. And unless you have questions or you want to tell me something,
I would like to say something. The golf cart tracks were mine, because on Friday, the bags were empty. The trees looked like they were dying. Wait, let me finish. The grants, and Tim we asked him, he said if we can get hoses, so Parks voted for him to get 5 big hoses, and he pulls them around, and it was a hot day, and I said, I will go over there, I will pull those with the golf cart. So he sat on the golf cart and we pulled them, but that golf cart isn't any heavier than a lawnmower.
I understand, no, it's actually about the same probably, but I understand, but again, your expert should know that a distress lawn, whether it's hot and dry or frosted and cold out, you drive on that and it kills it and it leaves marks. And the marks, if you're interested, Joanne, at all,
It's okay, and I understand that, and I even mentioned it to Mr.
nobody
Lund.
wants to see the damage, but
No, I can tell.
I'm just saying, they're everywhere, all over the place, and I understand. It could have been done without driving on the lawn, and I understand it's a hot day, we all do things, we all earn our money, we all do a little sweating sometimes, and it just made it look worse than it already looks. And I understand what you're saying,
Mhm.
but at the same time, when we discussed this in the office on Monday, you said, well, we had water and the bags were empty, except for some of them. Which means I've been watering them. If there's water in some, I've been watering, and they flow out at different rates.
I understand.
Some of them flow out pretty quick, some of them flow out slower, but they all put out the same amount of water from full to empty.
How often do you water those a week?
I was watering twice a week.
Okay.
And completely filling them up, and I couldn't on Thursday, before I left on Friday to go take care of my grandkids, because you guys had the pump.
Yeah, and that's the reason, because they were doing along the road, and that's working really good, because you don't need that much right now, because we're doing the hoses. I don't want to take any more time in this, but as far as this is the work order I put, because after our meeting, where we were discussing Mr. Lund, I said, a lot of Craig's work is here at Heritage, and he's not gonna have it. There's some things I see that perhaps he can do, and so they said, make a work order, and they were aware of this, and that's what we're
No, I
told to
understand
do.
they were.
So and the work order was, please trim and weed whip grass along Division Street, that, according to the guy who lives there, said hadn't been trimmed all summer, and it was this tall. So I thought, that's a good thing you could do. And then, the park, Freedom Park, I went on Freedom Park, we went on a bridge walk on Labor Day. And I was embarrassed.
Where,
Freedom Park, it's all overgrown. I don't think anything's been done there since
what do you mean?
21. All through the park, all through the path is overgrown.
The path is not, I went through there and made sure there's no branches, trees,
Recently,
yeah.
Okay,
I
well,
go
this-
back and get a time
this
sheet,
was the
I can look
bridge
at my
walk
phone.
on Labor Day
but
that I went.
this was before Labor Day. I went through and made sure there was no branches and trees blocking any paths. If they wanna walk without touching any grass, they should go to the mall.
Mhm.
If it isn't, it's a woods, it's a nature walk.
It's a nature.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I can't, I do not have time to go
No,
and be
and
with.
you don't.
Okay, all right.
Well, I wanna say one more thing.
No,
Because
it quick,
this was
please.
only done because you didn't have all the work that you did there, and I wanna make sure you were able to get the hours.
But that's
you
all
wanted.
stuff I did anyway. If you look at my timesheets, every 2 weeks, it lists mowing and weed whipping at the accesses.
There were just some that need.
And I understand that you organized a tour to critique what's been done on
No,
Saturday.
to see what needs to
And,
be
well,
done.
to see what needs to be done,
Yeah.
same thing, critique. But, and I'm more than happy. You could do it today,
Yeah.
you could do it tomorrow, you could do it on Saturday. It's gonna look the same. It looks good. We trim branches, we trim bushes, we weed whip, and we mow.
Mhm.
And we do it regularly.
What I don't like to see is when we bring up stuff, you are so easily offended, and this is not meant to offend you at all.
I'm not offended by that. I'm just trying to tell you, that stuff I already do. And you went to the park department and told them I don't do it. I
No,
already talked to one of the girl yesterday and she was nasty. She was really nasty.
that's Kelly,
All
no.
right.
I do have one thing to address with you, Craig. As far as your call list here and the contact, I agree. You should only be contacted during your working hours. I fully agree with that, and I have already contacted the attorney to write us up a communication policy so that everybody falls under that policy, because it is a thing, and I think it becomes just habit, because you think of something, you send a text.
We,
We kind of always do that with everybody. So you're right, this is a business. You're an employee and you have the right to have your time off of work.
can we
I
give him an email?
And
that
it's,
could be
it's not that I don't care about the township, I obviously do. If this was a paycheck, just a paycheck, I could see why people would be going on here. There's a way more to it than I had ever expected when I applied for the job. But I like the township, I raised 2 kids here, I'm gonna raise a grandchild here. I want the township to be good, I want my time off, and I wanna feel like I have time after work, that I'm not always waiting for my phone to go off.
Okay,
If you had an email, it'd be
all
helpful.
right, Greg, yeah,
You deserve to be paid for attending these meetings. You should be paid for attending these meetings.
Yes, and I was, and the issue, I think in this case, was because I wasn't called until after 10 o'clock. I showed up.
and he's an hourly,
And so, but I should be paid for the meeting. I have asked, and this Tom can verify, and I don't, if it can't be done, I don't want special treatment. Tell me not to come till 8 o'clock, tell me not to come till 9 o'clock. But if I can get in,
Or
It's early.
even submit your report and you don't have to be here.
yes, and then I can go and cover myself with a blanket and sit on the couch with other people.
Okay. I just want to point out, Joanne, and I'm assuming these came from her,
Yes,
okay?
And you notice they stopped.
40 days, including weekends, 82 interactions, 82.
Can I?
That's 2 a day, including Saturday and Sunday.
I didn't count them, I got tired, I got to about.
I just added them up,
I got to about 57 in the shop.
okay?
Please present to me the copy of the text,
And
because I've got them.
Okay. All right.
He's respectfully requesting.
And
that
You
stop.
still want, you still,
Joanne, this
And
isn't,
it stopped in June, did you see that?
this,
Joanne, can I say one thing? This is not personal. This is my job. This isn't my life, it is my job, I care about it, but I want some separation. And I want there to be some boundaries, that's all, it's not personal.
And I agree, but I
That's
do
right.
believe it is personal too, and I, between you and Tom, I believe it's personal, but we'll let it go with that, okay?
if it's not on a work request, then write it.
I would love for him to have an
They'll
email,
ignore it.
He does have an
he does,
email.
everybody should contact him by email, then he can look at it at his own time.
All right. So you still want your evaluation? Okay,
I'm not,
your maintenance evaluation.
yes,
Okay, so that'll be on next month's agenda.
okay,
Okay,
all right, wonderful. I'm just compiling of.
How is, I got a question on
A
how
lot
that's
of things,
being done.
different people that I've worked for over the years, I figure that you never know, you never know. And so I just like to have all that together and the fact that if it ever comes up that somebody goes, oh, you're not doing this, or you're not doing this, I can pull it out, so.
okay.
I got a question on that, I read the.
Also, Craig, seeing as how the, investigation into B and E is closed, I'll write something up for next meeting, that hopefully it meets with your approval, that, basically publicly states that, you were absolved of any connection with the breaking and entering, July 23rd, 2023.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
Yeah.
And I don't hardly hear about it anymore, I don't. Mostly it's, and I hate to say it, mostly if it's the, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, but the ladies that I have met working that walk or that go to the gym. And they just wanna know what was going on and they think I'm doing a good job and they think that was pretty unfair and they just wanna, and so they ask me from time to time. I don't hear about it at the gas station anymore, I can tell you that.
Okay. All right, any other questions for,
Yeah, I want to know how that evaluation is gonna be done, because I looked at it and it says truck. How many of us are gonna know how he takes care of his truck? Are you gonna look at the truck? How many of us are gonna know how the parks are going? We've got all these different areas that I'm not in it, I don't know things about other things that he does. So how are we gonna do this evaluation? Do I have parts?
basically by observation?
Okay, that's what I mean, so by parks. Am I the only one that go through all the parks, or is everybody else gonna go through the parks?
Like I haven't been to the parks,
I don't know.
okay, have you been to the parks?
Oh, okay,
Right.
that's what we know.
Okay,
Every week.
Okay,
The
so
individual-
that's when we.
the
that's what
maintenance
we-
evaluations will be done individually by each board member as for what they're
And if it's,
aware of and have observed
Mhm.
of his,
if it's something I am not aware of, I can just mark on there, not applicable.
yeah,
Just
put it in.
It's probably not for distance, but. The performance evaluation for, almost 3 years shouldn't be based on one visit to the park.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you do, you could build a brand new house and somebody could pick it apart.
Mhm.
I go out and do everything I can do every day, and I think that overall, the township looks good, and it looks much better than when I started. And
That's true.
some days I struggle, I go right from point A to point B, you know, and get stuff done. But I honestly think that the evaluation should be based on more than you driving through the park and go, oh, God, look at that, on a one-time deal. I consider it now, we've been doing it for almost 3 years, I've been doing it by myself for over a year
all right, we get your point. Okay,
now. Pardon?
we get your point,
Okay,
all right,
I got one question. It says Northern Michigan Glass will be coming once to schedule is set to repair. Which door are we looking at?
this one out front, but you see the crack, the one won't close, the
Okay,
hinges are
yes,
busted.
it's the Northwest Lot couldn't do anything with it because it's the hinges. And it's a specialty hinge, it has to be.
There's an adjustment pin in the bottom hinge that's just completely broke, you can't even use it.
well, I just want to know what door it was.
Yeah, that's the one.
I think actually, several of our doors need replacing, but that one's worst. Okay, moving on, the next issue, Heritage Park maintenance, Mr. Lund. Okay. This is,
It is his right as an employee to request closed session.
what,
It is his right as an employee to request closed
you
session.
can, if you would, you'd rather do this privately.
Can I suggest something too? Because he has been a maintenance for us for 2 weeks, maybe is all he's been able to work. I would like him to be able to explain the condition of the park, because all the parks group, our committee knows what's going on. You can't look at it and view, sure, it looks awful, but there's a reason for all that. And there's a reason because Mr. Lund is finance figure, so.
That's fine, that's why I gave it.
But
Basically,
he can defend himself.
basically, this is his chance to address the board. And I tell you, for the last 3 days, I've either been on the phone or an email constantly trying to did the research for basically what the issue is here. Okay, so I don't know if you want me to, Mr. West.
The agenda doesn't reflect an issue. What is the issue?
Okay. The issue is, every employee, that the township hires basically has to have a physical and a drug test. Okay, the drug screen on Mr. Lund,
I would stop right there, sir.
okay? All right,
That's
So-
why we offered him closed sessions.
now,
He can request that.
if he wants to do this privately, that's fine. But the fact of the matter is, our insurance company will not insure, anything he touches. Therefore, what I did was the day following this information coming to our attention was suspend his employment, okay, until the issue is resolved one way or the other. Now, Mr. Long, do you want to find out what I found out, or do you want to do this publicly or privately?
Do it right now. I didn't even know what the issue was until I got here, still don't, I know that I tested positive on the drug test. I'm a medical marijuana patient.
Do we understand
It's
that?
going to test positive, I don't care whenever you test. So evidently, that's the issue with you.
Okay,
So what's the problem? What is the policy?
what is the problem? The problem is All right, let me go through this. Okay, and this is from legal. And I did have. So this is, I have a copy of this for you, by the way. Let's get back to. Now I got a pile of stuff here. Oops. Good to go. Emails from,
While you're looking through that, can I share with the people here why Parks hired and the board voted unanimously to get Mr. Lund? He came in, he answered an ad. I was in my office and he said, I came here to get a mowing job. I said, we don't need another mower. And then he was shocked because he saw the ad. And so I said, I didn't know who he was. And he was one of the visionaries for Freedom Park, and for Heritage Park. He created the walking path. He got the engineers. His volunteer work actually went toward the grant application, which they got. And so the parks got excited because, heck, I'm finding from him, we've got 2 water sources there that has been passed down from maintenance to maintenance. So we haven't had water there, we've had problems there, and so sure, we're excited. He can answer the questions we've had for years, that haven't been addressed for years. And we're excited to have him be a part of it. And he has been finding sprinkler heads that have been changed from the original hunters and little adaptations made down to smaller. That man is saving us money by redoing, we don't have to hire Grand Traverse Outdoor Maintenance to do sprinklers. He's saving us so much money. And so this is very, very disappointing that we're seeing this. I read the report too, and it looked like he wasn't supposed to drive machinery. He hasn't yet.
It's also a policy that
You can't
cannot-
use a paintbrush and paint the pavilion?
No, you cannot be using a controlled substance and work for the township on township property. It said that in the beginning of the policy.
okay, here's the issue. Your medical marijuana, basically disqualifies you from our insurance policy. And, the township personnel manual strictly prohibits the use of alcohol or drugs of any kind unless they're prescription. You have a medical marijuana card.
That's prescribed.
So I went to legal. All right. All right, for Mr. Burnett, Smith and Johnson, I have attached 2 sections of the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act that seem to be applicable in this scenario. The relevant position in the latter section states that a qualifying patient who has been issued and possesses a registry identification card is not subject to arrest, prosecution, penalty in any manner. Okay. All right, what was the other one? The courts have considered the immunity for someone with a medical marijuana card to be brought under this above statute, and I also have a copy of that. I would advise to either reinstate this employee and watch for the employee being under the influence at work, academic at this point, or keep him suspended and table his termination until further hearing so that you can get clarification from the insurance carrier. You are uninsurable according to our insurance agent. That is the issue. So anything you use, if there's an incident and you're using your medical marijuana, okay, you put, the insurance company is going to deny any claim, which puts the township legally, financially responsible directly. So you're But I'm just saying. If they're not going to insure you, the township can't afford you to work for us. Because you put the township at risk, not the insurance company. Because the insurance carrier is just gonna deny the claim, whatever it might be. Okay, that's assuming there is a claim. But our responsibility is to protect the residents, the taxpayers and the voters of Clearwater Township, all 2,500 of them. Okay, that's our responsibility. All right, so the suspension, okay, as the lawyer says, we can either, you know, and because you're suspended, you're not gonna get paid because you're not gonna work. Okay, so any hours that you have accumulated to this point will be paid on the next pay period. But, and this was supposed to end in October anyway, once the sprinkler lines got blown out. So we can push this back and ask for clarification from the insurance company for another month. All right, at which point Heritage Park will be shut down anyway, once the leaves start falling.
Can I ask you,
Yes,
you gotta back up to where you read the statement. It says if a medical marijuana patient uses marijuana on the job, that's a problem.
well,
I am not.
if it's in your
I
system,
am not using them. No,
Okay.
no.
here's my issue.
There's,
Okay, I'm looking out for the township, okay, the suspension either gets extended by this board tonight. Or we take the insurance company's word that they're not gonna insure you. In which case, we would basically terminate you at this point.
if I'm using it on the job, and I'm not, so there's no basis.
Yeah,
The
fact of the matter is, it's in your system.
Any manner.
if you got so much as a traffic ticket out here. Okay, they could write you up for driving under the influence.
No, they can't.
No, they can't. It's protected by HIPAA. He's got a lawsuit against the township and the insurance company if you don't reinstate him.
Okay, I'm wrestling with the issue, the legal
It's
issue
a
here.
class action lawsuit because it affects every citizen in the township.
Okay, all right, that,
It's illegal.
here's the deal.
You read the law. The law said he cannot be punished in any manner.
He's not being punished.
Yes, he is.
No, he isn't.
Suspended.
No, he isn't.
Where's his
The
paycheck?
insurance company said they will not insure him
Do we have that in writing?
because of the positive drug test.
And
The
that-
Hollis Township policy says, basically says, no drugs or alcohol,
Yeah,
period.
but it has to.
And that's
Okay,
illegal.
now, if you get tested in the middle of the day at noon, okay, you're gonna test positive, correct?
For presence, but what's the,
Right, I understand that.
what's the amount is the key, right? There.
Okay,
Same thing with alcohol, sir.
no, I
If you're
understand that.
stopped And you've been drinking alcohol, the officer tests you.
Right.
And if you're inebriated, you're arrested. If you're not, you have alcohol in your system, but you're not drunk, you are a free man.
No, I understand that.
Same thing with
Okay, all
marijuana.
right, so
I am
as
not
far as
comparing.
the legal implications here go. My suggestion would be, we go to the insurance company. And ask them to clarify their position. Okay, and knowing that the chances of the township or the insurance company or both. Being involved in a lawsuit is highly probable. Okay, that we get some clarification in writing from the insurance company. If you are uninsurable. Okay, because of the medical marijuana call. And the failed drug test, okay, we either have to change the policy in the township. The insurance company has to be willing to insure you, or you don't get your job back.
Or I could sign a waiver not to operate the machinery.
That would cover you as liability, but it wouldn't cover the township.
right?
If,
The fact of the matter, all right,
if you are driving your private vehicle, you're going to pick up parts for something to do with the parking, you get in an accident, the township is liable because you're working for the township. It's just a liability issue. It has nothing to do with whether or not you're
well, you're
a legal
capable,
user, and that's on a state and federal level. It's not legal federally, it is legal in the state. That, we're not debating that at all. It's the liability issue for the township. That's it.
And the law itself says he cannot be punished in any manner, and you are punishing him.
No, we're not.
You
That's
know,
where the matter is, he should have had a test before we.
all right, here's the other
We
issue.
are also at-will employers.
Right,
And the law is the law that protects patients.
that's fine, Archie. Okay, I move that, we, continue Mr. Lund's suspension until October, until we get clarification on the law and the insurance company's position.
Are you saying till the next October meeting?
In 2 weeks, he'd be out of a job anyway.
There's stuff that needs to be, if we're gonna get those ball fields going in the spring, it's been 4 years.
I
we haven't
understand
used
that, and,
There's a motion on the floor to continue the suspension.
okay, we can have the discussion after it's seconded. Do I have a second? Second. Seconded by Mr. Bradley. Roll call vote.
John Kelly,
Abstain.
Tom Backers,
Yes.
Greg Bradley,
Yes,
Christine Johnson, yes.
I thought we wasn't allowed to abstain.
But, no, you can't. So I take it that's a no vote.
No vote.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. LaFew,
I FOIA'd the township's drug policy today, and I got this generic cut and paste wording from the Drug-Free Workplace Act. And, there's a lot more to just putting a couple lines in your policy to become and to maintain yourself as a drug-free workplace. They do that because the federal government gives us townships grants, so the federal money is where the problem comes in. And as far as Paul Olson, I think in your conversation, next conversation you have with him, he's gonna say that it's township policy that dictates whether he's here or not. And you will live by that policy, and if it's against the laws that the Marijuana Act provides, you're going to pay for it. It's simple as that.
I understand it. Okay,
But we welcome input. We want to make sure that we are doing our due diligence.
here's the
Who's
situation.
certifying the township? as a
Here's the
drug-free
situation.
workplace?
We
Who
want,
is doing that?
we want to clarify this, okay? And we want to correct it so it doesn't happen again. If you run into a problem,
That's the
you
thing.
either ignore it or you fix it.
Right.
We're trying to fix this.
Who is certifying the township as a drug-free workplace? That is a requirement of the Drug-Free Workplace Act.
Okay,
If you're gonna have a program, you gotta have counseling programs, there's a whole number of things that you have to do to comply to be, up to date with the drug-free workplace. So if you're gonna just enforce one thing out of it and say, oh, well, there's a whole list of things that you have to do along with it. So
Well, it just, the policy says consistent with. It doesn't say that we are following that. It says in
that's why I
line
asked
with
for the
that.
What is the township's drug policy?
Right, yeah.
This is just cut and paste stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
There's nobody signed this, there's no, like it was approved on a date.
well,
by the
that's,
township.
like I
It is the
said,
employee policy
This
that,
So-
it's
this
just
was
been
the
there.
existing personnel manual.
And it's also in
And the
need
thing
of
about it is,
other,
we should ask about that when we're doing an interview.
Would you read,
Makes sense.
Mr. Olson's email? Would you read Mr. Olson's email back to you?
That was the lawyer's email.
That was a lawyer's email. I sent the emails to everybody, I believe,
I'll try to bring it up.
and I printed them, but evidently I left them in a files in them. Because they're not in here. I know I had,
Down in the text.
okay, all right, I found it. Paul Olson. Okay, all right, this is my initial contact with the insurance company. We have a seasonal employee recently hired to maintain the ball fields and walking park at Heritage Park. Okay, this involves using machinery and on occasion, the township pickup truck. My concern is his use of medical marijuana, which he tested positive for. Okay, should he use the township truck on a public roadway and be involved in any, and be involved in any incident? This would definitely affect any legal case against the township. In my opinion, this puts the township at considerable financial risk should he be involved in an accident or an incident of any other type. I would like your written opinion concerning the use of this not only truck, but any mechanical equipment in the performance of his duties. Is that basically straightforward enough? Okay, he should not, is his Paul Olson, back to me. He should not be using equipment or driving using any substance, period. Do you have a policy pertaining to this? So I sent him basically page 8 of the personnel manual, which is what you got.
Again, you're only doing 1/2 of the drug test. You're testing to see that it's positive. Now, the other half of it is how positive? Am I impaired or not? That is the legal part of it.
It doesn't matter.
And you're not following up on that part. I have not.
This is 48 hours old, sir. Okay, I've spent the last 2 days gathering this information. We're not done yet. Okay? So basically, what we did was push this down the road so we could fix it so that we can either put you back in your position or make another decision for the spring. But obviously the ball fields need some help. We know that. Okay, Heritage Park, if it's gonna be the ball fields and the soccer fields, it should be a package. All right, at the moment, in 2 weeks, you're basically gonna shut that thing down anyway. Once the leaves starts falling, and the irrigation system is either repaired. We didn't get a bill for another,
But the ball fields still need to be prepared without the watering system. There are weeds that have been growing for.
I understand that, and
Years.
his seasonal employment would end at the end of October anyway.
And the plan was to get all the weeds gone and get the red clay in.
I
None of that.
understand that, but until this issue is resolved, okay, nobody's going anywhere.
Can you fix sprinklers?
No,
Why?
because he's not insurable.
I'm not operating any machinery of any kind. The irrigation is not done. It needs to be finished.
Andrew Holbert will help.
Well,
He
you
will
were
do the
hired
machinery.
to do at the entire amount of maintenance, which would include running the lawnmower,
We can,
correct?
Let's do a job description here right off the bat. When you hired me to do Heritage Park, you said, how much of Heritage Park do you want? I said, 100%. That's
Mhm.
every single thing in the park.
Which means
Everything.
using equipment.
And now Craig is down there doing part of my work, and he shouldn't be. He should be doing his stuff, I do my stuff. Okay? And now you're not letting me finish what I was hired to do, repair the irrigation, so that I can work on the infields. Neither one of those require, well, the infield will require the use of the tractor, but the irrigation, there's no reason why I can't finish repairing that.
and I asked Andrew Holbert, and he's willing to do like he was before. He's willing to help get those fields ready. Because if we go another year, we might as well just close the fields down. We've got people who want to use them. They come and take a look and they're disgusting.
Well, that's something that Perks is gonna have to address.
We're working on it. We're trying. We've been trying for 4 years. We've had 4 different maintenance men. It hasn't been done.
I understand.
Now we've got somebody wanting to do it and able to do it.
The motion's already
Okay,
been passed. It's gonna be until we find out how to handle it.
Until we get the medical marijuana issue straightened out.
Let's do it quick.
He has been,
Yeah, by the time you do that, sir, it'll be next month, correct?
right,
Oh, well, then that's my last
Why
one.
can't we do it sooner?
So then you'll say, okay, Mr. Ron, you can go back to work
If-
now. I'm done for the season.
if,
So
if
what's the point?
I can get this straightened out within the next week, we can call a special session. We're gonna have to have one anyway for our October budget workshop. So.
A
we
special
can-
meeting?
Right.
What you just said?
Right, so we can schedule you in addition to that in front of the budget workshop. But I wanna make sure,
And what date is that, please?
actually, that is on the agenda, or should be on the agenda at the bottom.
Yeah. We're gonna set a workshop date.
Right, so, and that'll probably be on a Saturday, and it'll probably be, what, maybe 10 days or 2 weeks, we've still gotta publish it. But that's only 18 hours. If you want what I got from the lawyer, this is yours. Believe me, this is not personal, okay?
Well, I hope not.
I'm looking out for.
You know, I've done nothing wrong. I've broken no laws whatsoever.
No, I understand that,
And I'm still
I
not
understand
breaking
that.
any laws.
so,
But you have.
We have not broken
And
any
you got the
laws.
test results back. Did you share that with anybody? Did you?
He hasn't
but the
seen
insurance
it.
company, I
You
called,
broke the hefty law.
100%.
If I may.
Yes, sir.
Read an article on the weather, there's a big push, it appears that this winter is gonna hold off, due to the temperatures extremely high and potentially low here. It looks like we're gonna have a wonderful lack of winter again like last year, but maybe there should be some rush put on this, but even that being said, I appreciate the board going above and beyond trying to handle it and having a special meeting for it. They already have the meeting, so it's not truly special, but putting it on the agenda for another meeting, that's awesome. I appreciate that. Also, this issue is a massive issue, and this is why, one of the major reasons we can't find workers. Because people are choosing not to use pharmaceutical due to the side effects. They're choosing to do an organic medicine. The other thing is, last comment is, I think that you would have the opportunity to work even longer if need be, is what I'm saying, due to the weather. Thank you.
okay,
One more thing I'd like to mention that I've observed, and I've discussed it with Angie, and I've discussed with Christine. I feel like when this medical stuff comes, if we know where it's coming from, only Christine should be opening that. I do not believe that Angie should be the one that opens it, and it should be sealed when I've talked to Mr. Thorpe. If he gets copies, he takes his copies, the other copies are in a locked cabinet. It should not be told to anybody else.
Very true.
Protected by the HIPAA laws, totally suable. You cannot tell anybody, period, about a drug test. That's the law.
I had a person tell me, Tom, that you told them, and I had my daughter tell me someone told her.
And
And none of that should
Village
be happening.
Market. It was being discussed at Village Market. Total bullshit.
the only person I called was the insurance company. So I don't know where Village Market got the information, but it wasn't from me.
Who locked up the results of the test like this are required?
Our office administrator.
She's appointed.
She picks up and sorts the mail. Okay,
We had a discussion though, Christine, and I mentioned it, it just seems like it should be the clerk is the only one that sees that unless it's necessary for the rest of the board. We all got an email on it. All got an email from you.
Total violation of HIPAA laws.
This is a big
He
issue.
violated his rights. He's got the biggest lawsuit against this township that you can imagine.
Our office administrator was informing the board that there's an issue. That
If he
there was a
said he
failed
tested
test.
positive,
Mhm,
that's illegal.
mhm.
How are we as the employer supposed to find out then?
you're supposed to have a person in place that handles such
And that
things.
would be.
And that was
And
me. That
nobody
was
else
Angie.
is supposed to know. You cannot give his results to
But
anybody.
we work as a board, so we are all the employer. That's why I'm
Read the
questioning.
laws, read
But
Yeah.
Greg has said before, when I've asked about the firemen, you said nobody's to see those, well, somebody's got to see.
Exactly.
You brought up about the fire department, nobody should see those, so that's why I was working at, and I talked to Mr. Tharp. He obviously needs to see it, he's the fire chief, but the whole world doesn't need to know.
What I said was you need to appoint somebody to open the letters from Munson.
Mhm.
Look at the first piece of paper, it says passed or failed. And at that point there,
Mhm.
you can let Derek or the chief or he passed or he failed. And you seal the envelope back up and you put it in this personnel file.
Yeah, and that's
I
what,
believe that's what happened.
but I believe that should be the clerk and not our office
Well,
girl.
I said that for,
All right.
Maybe we need
Okay.
to make that a
I'm
policy.
not there to get the mail, so I don't know.
If
well, I
she
mean, she
sees
can
it,
sort the mail. and it goes
you've got a
in there fine.
deputy that can do it.
And then that's
Anyway.
somebody else.
All right,
Well, your deputy works like you do, just like mine.
moving on.
Having two people then.
All right, so we've gone through an hour of this. Minutes of August 15th. I published a synopsis. I forgot the one on the 27th, which was
Yeah, that was just.
that quickie that we had.
resetting that. Well,
No, it's in there.
yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't publish it.
Oh, okay.
When I sent it to the papers, I forgot about that one.
You emailed it to me, Christine, I have to look it up.
Okay, anybody have any additions, corrections, or deletions to the minutes of August 15th?
I went through it, it's the same thing. Okay, find it right now.
Special meeting was August 7th, not 27th. Oh, maybe that's a planning commission, that's why I put that there, the city master plan.
Oh, yeah.
First two, right, first.
You said, I'm sorry, I just got back from vacation and these are the snaps and I'm looking for them.
It's not 600 minutes. Thank you, Derek.
Oh, this is Rapid River.
That's the contract for last year. And the new one
Nice.
for the.
All right, I will make the motion to approve the minutes from August 15th.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, August 27th is not on here, but that's a special session we had to rescind the vote we had on amendment to ordinance 20.
As soon as that
And that
is,
was basically a vote to put the ordinance back in its original condition. Simply because that was the Grand Valley Marine special request issue.
and I will make the motion to approve those minutes as presented.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, correspondence. Okay, where are we at? I have a maintenance evaluation form, if anybody needs one. You should. Greg, you have a printer? Okay. Smith and Johnson and the STR got back to us with their recommendations for final review and amendment of the STR ordinance. The only portion that I need to really put in the record was so given that the ordinance is not a ban on short-term rentals, but rather regulation through licensure and capping, such a process appears to be reasonable means to achieve the township's goal of maintaining residential neighborhood integrity while still affording an opportunity for pecuniary gain to its property owners. This is coupled by the presumption that the ordinance are valid and reasonable when adopted. The township draft Don't, don't see, was this on a single page? Doesn't look like a copy. The township draft states its intentions with the general clarity from the outset, namely that it intended to protect the health, safety, and general welfare of citizens. There's a couple of changes in wording, but other than that, he said it looks to be enforceable. So, we need to set a date, for the STR review. I don't know if we want to push that.
We have that down in number 10.
Yeah.
Setting that date.
Unfinished business review date, okay, we can do that when we get there, we can do it now.
If people are waiting here for it right now, maybe. we bring it
Yeah,
up.
I know that. So, I'm looking at October 4th, right? No. Is that a Saturday? Or do you want to do this separately and do it on a,
October 5th is a Friday.
Is it September 28th?
No, that's next Saturday. I'm gonna be out of town.
because once we review this and we actually adopt it, we'd have to set a public hearing date, and that requires 15 days notice.
So the fifth of, is a Saturday.
The 5th,
Nope, yeah, that's October. That's 15 days.
okay,
Let me-
so that's the beginning of the month.
Saturday?
Calendar, hold on.
So if we had, Mr. Lund, the budget workshop would basically just be a bunch of numbers,
I think
looking at,
we need to let the next board do that one.
what?
They don't need
budget?
our help doing the budget.
Well, I know
Except
that,
Christine.
but what I'm saying is, the budget workshop is basically just a collection of expenses and income revenues. So that we get the numbers together, so that the November meeting, they have them. Basically, and what the whole budget was,
Process that we have to follow. Whether we're the.
October, November, and then you do, one in January.
Do we invite well, we don't even know who they are, invite.
You wanna do the budget and the SDR review on the same day? And?
Yeah, we
the
could do,
issue
we
with
could
Mr.
do
Lund?
that, and if we're gonna reinstate Mr. Lund, that'll only take 5 minutes. We can combine all three. So if we have a special session, we would have the, Mr. Lund's basically situation to deal with. Okay, we would do the STR review, and then, the budget workshop would probably take 20 or 30 minutes.
Township calendar is clear for the 5th.
Okay,
The township calendar is clear for the 5th.
okay.
So we're looking at the 5th, what time?
Morning, 10, 9?
10,
Even 9 would be good.
Which day are we talking about, Tom?
Saturday, October 5th. If you wanna start at 9, we'd probably be out of there by noon.
That would be good.
Because if we incorporate the lawyer's suggestions, basically, it's just gonna be all red letter it. All right, and then we'll just go down and approve or disapprove, bang, 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 and then take a vote on it. Once we take a
Hopefully.
vote to approve, we have to set a public hearing.
Right. And that's where they get to talk, so
Right.
there will be.
Right,
limited
basically what we're
time.
doing is approving the language. Okay, the public hearing would precede the vote to establish the ordinance by resolution.
So we want to schedule the other dates too?
Okay,
Do we want, so we do October 5th, do we want to schedule them?
all of them. all three. Just
Right
get 'em
now,
out of the way.
schedule them on.
Bang, bang, bang. So October 5th at 9 AM at the schoolhouse. On the agenda will be Lund, STR, budget, in that order. Okay, so that takes care of three things.
Excuse me,
Yes, sir.
is there any public input on the fifth,
As far as,
as far as the SDR?
yeah, public hearing, basically would be your, the last.
But that.
But you'll have opportunity to comment, okay? When I get this red letter version done, okay, I will have it posted on the website. You, Mr. Sorensen, will get your own personal copy. There's a couple other people that email me regularly, Mr. Packer is one of them. If I have that information available, I will send it out to you, so you have the wherewithal to look and make your comments. You know, I read your emails. So,
Thank you,
and then, the public hearing will be the last chance,
that's the last chance.
for and against, before we vote to either adopt or defeat it.
But that last one is either or adopt, defeat it, or take it back to rework it.
Basically, in the condition it's in. We've been through this going through this for 2 years. So if we kill it, we kill it. It's gonna be dead. Now you revert back to ordinance 22, the zoning ordinance. Okay, if you're not living on the property, you can't do that. That's a commercial enterprise,
That's support of that.
and you'll have to enforce it that way. This gives us the option, so I cannot see it not being adopted. At least it gives us a tool to regulate. Okay, it may not be perfect, but it's something. Okay, so I got the STR review, bank loan status. Did you guys get the exchange of the emails and the Act 99? We do not have to take any action on this. That was for informational purposes only. So what I'm looking at, like I said, the 4-year term on this, but that would be up to the board. Basically, when you take out a bank loan, it's for 15 years anyway, for a municipal loan. And they want to pay it back in 4 years, which kind of limits what you can do with the rest of the roads. But that's the next board's decision, so. The Fed just lowered the interest rate yesterday at half a point on the prime. So the longer you wait to execute this, okay, the better things are gonna get as far as, interest wise. But anyway, I have like 2 copies of this. If somebody wants,
You sound awesome.
yeah, I sent most of this back. So,
Is this the one that was recommended by the road committee?
yeah,
Okay, that one, okay, you have any questions? Good,
I would just say though that we chose that 4-year period because we have income for roads during that period.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna extend it to 15 years, that.
no, what I'm saying is 15 years gives you the options to play with it.
Right,
Okay.
but to take out a loan for 15 years in the future, the voters have a opportunity to.
I'll say no.
referendum.
It's on a 20-year loan. It's a 20-year loan or a bond. The 15-year loan you can adopt right here. But the fact of the matter is, the reason I was looking at that was it gives you the flexibility, okay, not to spend your entire road millage every year for 4 years, just to pay out this loan in 4 years.
but we're
It
not,
doesn't do that if we borrow the 737 instead of 1.2 million.
that's less than half of what the
1.2.
4 years will bring in.
But anyway,
No,
that was
it's not if you do the
that's why
math.
we chose the 4 year.
But anyway, all right, so anyway, we have the information. The only thing that's remains to be seen would be the loan contract from the bank. So. All right, moving on.
Can I ask what the interest rate is right now?
What,
What is, you said it came down a half.
that
What is
was,
it right now?
they were, what, 5.25. I didn't catch, but 50 basis points would be 4.75. So ours was based, when I called in Memorial Day, was 5.5. I don't know what this one would be. Because the interest rate declined since then. So I'm assuming, basically it was at 8.
Mhm.
Okay, and that was a couple of months ago. So I'm assuming it's a quarter point, it's probably down around 7 now. So the longer you wait, the more they try to stimulate this economy, the lower the interest rates.
Because we're government, do we get lower than the average person?
We get lower than what a retail loan would be, it's municipal rate. Okay, all right, so that's the end of that correspondence. The other thing I did get. Tokyo Marine, I got an excuse basically for them not happening. The investigator on that was, on maternity leave for 2 months, which is what the delay was there. Zoning administrator. John, I have some teeth for you.
Awesome.
Okay, municipal liens against lands, buildings, other structure, or actual property. So for blight or any other ordinance, we have a means to basically exert some pressure for compliance. Next one. Short term.
I just.
Okay,
Just popped into my head, sorry,
all right.
distraction.
Okay, I also got 3 bids on for roofs. I spread those out. We'll get to those later. And I
Are we ready for treasurer?
think that's about it, correspondence wise. If I missed anything, we'll catch up later.
You have a lot going on.
Yes, I know, it's driving me crazy this week. Let's go. Okay, treasurer's financial report, we have the treasurer's report. Any questions?
Yeah. I see the fire department got hit for about $3,000 worth of telephones. I call it shit. Is that gonna be normal?
No, that's, we're looking at the treasurer's report. That's the
Oh,
clerk's,
treasurer.
that's the clerk's report.
Oh, it's this one then. Oh yeah, I'm all set with this one.
Okay, you on the right page?
Yep.
Okay.
Your fire department fund is drawing close to $1,000 a month interest.
Yep. Johnson, you want to say that yet? Okay, I also, one other thing, I called Spicer back after we got done with the little meeting over there. That's the other thing, we do have to, approve a committee for the office remodel over there, of which I won't be a part. And, actually, the roof expense should come out of a capital improvement fund. But when, I will deal with that when we get it. And I'm trying to figure out what's in there,
Have a public hearing for that too,
what's in there.
for
Michigan.
capital improvement.
Hmm?
Don't we have to have a public hearing for capital
Yeah.
improvement?
Yeah. Yep, we do.
Can we, on that roof, can we possibly seek, is anyone against the steel roof? And ask the Amish to give a bid, because they are really reasonable.
Let's, wait until we're
Oh, I
down
thought
to
that he
that.
was discussing
We'll get to
that.
the
Okay.
roof bids.
We're just looking at your treasurer's report,
Oh, okay.
still, I think.
But I was just looking at, where the money should come from, so, I mean, because I know we're already inclined here for.
To keep that in.
Yeah.
Well, we also approved the money for the playground equipment too.
Yeah,
so-
I know, that's the next big item.
Michigan class is where we've invested a lot of the money. For you that don't realize, that aren't aware, we found out a couple of years ago, we're not supposed to have more than 250,000 in any bank because it's not insured for more than that. So that's why, my deputy went and I talked, went to this Michigan class and decided to invest in that. So that's what you see. It's a big group and they do the investing of the money. And so you're seeing the great interest that we are getting on that Michigan class, why it's not being used, it's not sitting in the bank drawing nothing or little.
So, anyway, okay,
So the general fund balance, I'll note that we did get, it's on my vendor report, but we did get another state shared revenue deposit
okay.
of 46,000.
Did we get paid for the last election yet?
No, they're still working on that. I-
So if there are two elections in arrears now, like the August primary and, was it February?
Yeah, we just submitted, all they were covering for the last August election is, employee wages, correct?
Good.
Yeah,
The government we trust.
So we're waiting for checks from them for the long.
it probably will be a Sigma deposit, it probably won't be a check, but it might be a check, I don't know.
Okay,
They'll know when it comes in, what it's for.
All right, clerk?
Okay, I have your expenses by vendor detail there. I will note that, remember last meeting, I did say I usually go through and make sure all the bills are paid right before the meeting, so you have everything on your report, and I had not had time to do that, so this report actually has double, so it has
Right, no.
the end of last month and the beginning of this month, so that's why there's more on there than what you expect for some things.
Well, I take it all the telephone bills for the fire department, which is, there's 8 of them.
Well, I did, if you look at the date of that, what I was trying to do was split that so I could see what was internet, what was camera, and what was phone. And I decided, you know what, that was a lot of work to split that up because it's all on one bill, and I'm not gonna do that again. So I just now, it's all under telephone and I write in the memo, this is for camera, this is for,
Basically, it's all spectrum anyway.
it is all.
Just, can I say something just for the board, Mr. Malcolm, because there was a complaint about the camera not facing the right way. They come, we do not charge us to come to get those cameras aimed where they're supposed to be.
What camera's not facing right?
Like down at Heritage, Andy said something about it. Wasn't taking this up, and I asked them if that would be charged, no, it's all included. So they will come at no charge and aim it where we want it.
Okay, this,
Page 4, Christine. Under month and occupational health, what was those 3 charges for?
Let's see, I just paid those. And they were invoices that came in from 2022. For 2 separate firefighters, one was, 2 bills for one firefighter. One in January and one in November, and then another one for another.
We didn't receive a bill back then.
I don't know, they sent us an invoice that said it had never been paid from 2022, so I said,
Okay,
I have no way of telling whether we owed invoices from 2022. How could I know? So I just
Is
kind
it
of
back
had to.
in QuickBooks at all? How
It
far
would
back
be
does it go?
It would be the old QuickBooks. I would have to dig
Yeah.
into the old QuickBooks, and then there's no guarantee that that's all there.
and then up on the top of that page, there's 2 checks written to Mears.
Yes, because as it turns out, I have been paying that through the general fund all along.
Yeah, but there should only be one payment
it's-
at the end of the year.
No, it's monthly. We pay monthly.
For who?
It's the program. That's our payment to have that program, and I don't know how it works. But all I can say is this, Greg, we're at the end of it because we're closing it, right? So,
Yeah, it's being floated.
but yeah, we started out, when I first started, we started out with like 1,000 and some dollars, and now it's down to 349 or whatever that is, 347. So it decreases when we meet a threshold, and then we have to maintain that amount. I don't know how it works.
Well, you know,
Derek has
there
it,
was not supposed to be any monthly service charges on it.
it's not a
Yeah, but I'm
service
just saying,
charge,
it was
yeah,
one-time payment
it's
per
an
year,
investment.
and
I
it's
guess.
not the township's account, it was actually individuals. So they're sliding something by on you.
Yeah.
You think
It
so?
should be individual.
Yeah.
If you're paying into the mirror, it's like, who does it go to? So does
Yeah.
it go to, you know?
I don't know, I got the
See,
bill
once
when
a
I
year,
first
we-
started, and
Once a year, we would give a list to you. And, you know, so-and-so gets so much deposited in his account, and so, and then that was it.
nobody's been depositing, but they have monthly billed us.
But it's once a year payment we made.
Yeah. But it must be some kind of service charge.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like an annual contribution. That's a retirement fund, right?
Right, but
I think they broke down the contribution into a specific amount. I really don't understand it at all. I really don't. I got the bills and I paid the bills.
Don't be afraid to call me, I'll call. I don't have a problem calling people.
Do I call them and ask them,
Like,
what is
Help
this?
us check it out,
But-
figure out what's going on.
So at the audit, I asked Tyler, I'm like, is this township or is this fire department? I've been paying it through the township this whole time, and he said, oh, that is fire department, but don't worry about making any fixes, because I'm gonna fix all of that in a general ledger thing, and he goes back and finds anything that's out of whack and puts it back where it belongs. So he does that in our audit.
Yeah, so when we get the audit report, the recommendations for fixes will be basically an addendum to that.
Yeah. So anyways, but again, we're closing that account, so. I can't, yeah. Let's talk.
Okay.
It's been one of those things that I've wanted to learn and never had time to. Any other questions on that?
is it
Moving.
$46,000, that was a Sigma payment for,
Yeah. For state shared revenue.
yeah, shared revenue.
Yep.
And also our tax collection fees goes in the general fund, and
Yeah.
some of them are quite large.
Not for. this one.
Okay,
Next I have the, L 4029 that needs to be approved.
yes. I saw that.
Again, I don't understand this form, I never did.
Okay, basically it is what it's our millage request for the following year, tax year. Okay, so the operating millage on the. When was it? When we have was it February? Okay, was increased from 0.6932 something. Okay, back up to 1 mil. So right now you're seeing the adjustment for the next year, which is what is it, 0.125 reduction in
So just
in
that last
millages,
difference.
so it's 986 something. But that restores basically 178,000 to the operating budget for next year. So they'll be richer than we are by about 60 grand. Anyway, fire department, that was renewed. Roads was renewed at 2 mills. Okay, the hospital, and of course, fire department, that was your operating budget. What was renewed? The fire equipment was renewed.
Yeah, equipment renewed, which should be.
Okay, and then, okay, fire department operating budget was again reduced from 9.8 to 9.7. Happens every year. And parks millage went down a smidge. So these are the millages that will go into effect for the next tax year.
What are they showing for your taxable value there?
The taxable value, 178, 331, 832. So basically, we're looking at, nearly $180 million for
What was the date on that?
Clearwater Township. I just got
It was
this,
179, did it come down?
it was
As
178.
of 5/28/24.
It was 178 something, okay.
Okay, and Don Coons didn't date this, so we will.
First we
Does
have to
anybody
approve
find
it.
any fault with this? Okay, this is correct, according to mine.
Okay.
Well, I mean, for a while, we were just guessing.
She's gonna
about what
teach
we're
me
doing.
how to do it, even though, when she has spare time.
Okay, so the clerk signs, we'll sign 2 copies.
I will make the motion to approve it. I think we have to approve it, don't we?
Yes.
Second by Childs. Does that need a roll call vote?
Yeah, it's taxes, so let's put
Okay.
this in
All right,
red letters.
awesome. Joanne Childs,
Yes,
Greg Bradley,
Yes.
Christine Johnson, yes, Tom Backers.
Yes. It's 919.
I can turn that into the county.
I have signed this one, you signed yours.
I
yet?
didn't, yeah, I can.
And I have a spare in case he's screwing up.
There you go. Okay, and the next thing I have is, we have a check written to Morrison Electric for $900, and I believe that is for the repair of the lamp posts. I did write this from the general fund, but I got to thinking that's probably Metro, and I
Yeah.
wanted to bring that for a vote.
in that, did the insurance pay anything on that? We've got a $500 deductible,
I don't know if there was a claim even on that.
it should be, probably, was that an accident, or what was it?
It was parts.
Oh,
The eye.
That was
The lights
oh,
was
okay,
bad,
okay.
and
No,
so none of the.
And they said they were waiting
that's the
on,
whole town, okay.
the street lamps on the town, they had a contactor that burned out that was
No.
back ordered. I don't know, has that been corrected yet? Or should I get on them about
I thought
that?
maybe we had another accident.
The lights are working.
The lights are working? Okay. So
They were
must be
waiting on
out.
a part, they told me.
So my question is, do we pay that from Metro?
Right away fund should be paying for that.
Mhm.
That's
Okay.
the Metro one, right?
Yeah,
All right, I'm gonna ask for a vote on that to pay Morrison Electric bill for $900 from the Metro Fund. That's my motion.
okay, I'll second that.
All right, Tom Backers,
Yes.
Greg Bradley,
Yes.
Joanne Childs.
Yes.
Christine Johnson, yes. Thank you so much for that. I also have, the renewal for insurance.
Oh, you got, all right, I've got copies of that too. You haven't seen it.
I didn't look at it. All I know is that we have this bill today. It's huge.
I'm gonna say something here. South Fork Lake Fire Department had the same insurance company, and they went to the local guy downtown,
Yeah.
and they cut their insurance rate 40%.
Really?
Was that,
Basically, what I think we should do with this
Put it out for bids.
is basically take the coverage.
Yeah.
Okay, and send it to a couple of insurance companies, see what they can do.
Cause they, the last 3 years, they're jumping thousands
Oh,
of
I went
dollars.
from 11,000 to 28,000 in the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And this
Was
quoted
that
premium
regular
is
insurance dollar?
$32,396.
Well, it used to be the ID
The
on
quoted
breaker
premium
truck
is
from Long Beer.
$32,396.
But they broke their policy into township policy and fire department policy. They didn't combine the two together,
hmm,
but just the way they do it, so.
I forgot. to bring the book.
Okay, so we're gonna table the insurance
Okay,
and look elsewhere.
When is ours?
it expires 11/13, so we have until November. To look at that. Other than that, Margaret was at a meeting tonight with the county clerk, with all of the clerks to prepare for the election. We have our crew already set up for early voting and I believe election day as well. Ballots should be coming in anytime. We got the samples, those are all approved. I think we're pretty much on track for getting ready to send out the absentee ballots and get ready for election again,
What, early voting starts what day?
end of October. Like the 28th, I think.
26, 27, 28, right?
Somewhere around there.
Okay,
We're not looking at it. But that's my report on that. And I
all right,
think that
Sheriff's
was,
Department, you all got the written report, and the deputy's report, Fire Department.
Pretty short list. We had 15 requests for service in August. 3 training sessions, pretty much normal, states in 2200. Practicing different firefighter activities. I've got a presentation for the Rapid River contract. If you can, also hose testing was completed. And then we just renewed our EMS license, which is the state bills. All kind of general business, just with the general, with the Rapid River contract. So I kind of retyped them, put different dates in them.
Right,
I don't know, I guess. I don't know where it fell short of who's supposed to give us, are they supposed to send us the contract? We
Right,
supposed
did
to send it to
In the
them?
past, it's always they sent the contract.
Yeah,
right, so
Whoever
that's
has-
why we missed it last
Did we have
year, because they never
communication?
sent one.
it's probably some kind of communication.
I mean, have you?
Okay, so this is-
spoken with them?
I had not.
Oh,
I
okay.
think they changed clerks up there too.
Is this both of them?
That's
I don't
for
think so.
the past and then the new one, yes.
Because what I've
The
got
one I've
here
seen is the
says
same one.
July 24th through June 30th, 2025.
That should be the current contract.
Right.
The other one
Valerie, yeah,
is the one
Valerie.
that's lapsed.
This
Yeah.
one says July 24th through June 2025.
Oh.
So I got to do the same. That was my question.
So these have been,
Basically, these are
written, but haven't been presented yet.
right, these are bills. So what happens is, basically, we approve based on current millage rates, okay, what we're gonna charge them to cover that portion of their township.
Mhm.
Send this to them. Then they're supposed to send us their actual contract approved by the board containing this information. Okay, approved by their board, and then the contract is basically enforced. So what we're doing is sending them a bill. So we have to approve these, Right.
Oh, okay. Right.
and then, they'll be,
This is under.
so basically, I've got 2 copies of the same thing.
Yeah.
I've got.
Just different dates, different
Yeah,
years.
well, one should be different.
Okay, yeah, well, I'm sure the clerk has 2 copies of the other one.
Huh?
Huh?
Okay, I haven't seen, I saw the email on the first one Greg sent me, but I don't.
I think Derek used the same numbers dollar wise, didn't you?
No, well, I used the new numbers for the
Yeah.
new contract.
Didn't you give me a copy of these?
But the old one.
You know, I remember seeing that,
They're
but
the same dates.
Turned off long.
I'm looking for 23 to 24.
Yeah, I'll get it to you.
Okay,
okay. So that's 2 copies of the same
Yeah,
thing.
they're the same.
Okay,
all right,
so we only have the 23.
all right.
That's the one that
This-
they're.
this is the
rear
current.
for right now.
This is the current year.
Yeah.
We're looking for last year. All right,
Wait, that's last year's.
That's last year's year.
okay, agreement for fire protection. All right. I, Valerie Hanson, clerk of Rapid River Township. This is a signature that she needs to do. I, Christine Johnson, clerk. All right, so we send them the bill. Ta-da. Give it to Sarah, in the presence of Derek Dar. Tom Backers, Christine, Clerk, Rapid River. All right, so basically what we have to do is vote to approve the Rapid River Fire Agreement for the, year 24, July 24 through June 2025. And the amount is, where are you? That's 25 grand, 25,500. Rapid River agrees to pay Clearwater Township 25,500 for such services from July 24th or July 1st, 2024 to June 30th. Okay, motion to approve,
Okay, so that is
the Rapid
24.
River proposed contract
I usually pay it quarterly.
Yes,
for 2024-25.
you're making that motion.
Okay, roll call vote.
Hold on, we don't have a second. Who's our second?
We don't have a second.
Now second.
All right. Tom Backers,
Yes.
Craig Bradley,
Yes.
Joanne Childs, yes, Christine Johnson, yes.
Okay. One for mail, one for file. Sign that one, I've already done that. And then we gotta give it back to Derek. Fire chief will be responsible for mailing this,
Mail it?
yeah, or do you want? Let the clerk do it, but just,
Yeah.
all right, you wanna come up and sign these then?
No, they signed a contract today, I understand, with Belfast.
I wouldn't sign that as
The township.
Okay,
This one too, do it.
You know, they're gonna squawk on the price increase, okay? But they're also paying Belfast $45,000.
One
that's past due.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
everybody's passing. then.
Do they know how much it costs for, if they didn't have this, for each fire you attend to in Rapid River?
Okay, so.
How much it would cost?
Each person, yeah, how many
Once
fires?
you file, once come the mail.
Okay, and then I cannot sign
Just
that
trying
it's
to start
adopted until they,
I mean, big cost for
Yeah,
Rapid
they
River.
have
So
a
you
count,
send it back.
bring it back.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, I will mail that one.
So, and then, we'll need to do the 23-24 when. That one. Should get emailed to the clerk, so
Yeah.
she can at least give them a heads up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That'll be done tomorrow.
So actually, when you get those, Christine, and you're gonna print them out, I'll just come in and sign them and we can mail them both at once.
Okay,
That might be the one they object to because they didn't offer us a contract.
That's fine. We won't offer them any fire protection.
Yeah.
That's in the past.
Okay, anything else? Oh, tire. What was that about?
We need tires for the squad, you know, we do have an active, MIDO contract.
Right, okay, so you're looking at what, about $2.35 a copy? From, you're talking about the big,
No, I'm talking about they're 19.5 inch tires.
Yeah.
If you buy them on the internet, they're like $800 a piece.
oh, okay, so,
And I need 6 of them,
so what you're looking at.
but that's on the internet.
Yeah,
I'm
what's-
thinking you're gonna be down around $400 or less when you go through the
Okay.
MIDO.
So you're looking at $2,400 probably. Okay, so we want a motion to approve up to $3,000 for
Well,
the new dryer.
We did that last month, we can go $4,000 a month, because discretionary spending now.
Well, okay, all right.
Because everything costs so much anymore, to be
Yeah,
honest.
Okay, so you're buying. Well, you're gonna check out buying deals, but you're actually gonna spend the money, so. With or without approval, yes. Okay, that was my question. All right, planning commission, he's not here, basically, review the. New township master plan. And we'll adopt it, in October.
Okay, I haven't had a
Okay.
chance to even look at it, so.
Yeah, I haven't had time to look, I haven't had time to do.
Dan's here. Did you say he's not here?
Hmm?
Dan's here. Isn't he the?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
You wanna put your 2 cents worth in?
Yeah, it would. We sent that on Monday and hoping that it would be reviewed this week. Once it's approved, it then goes out to the local jurisdictions for a 63-day review period, and we're hoping to get that review period started
Oh,
to adopt this in a timely.
that's October 5th.
You're okay with it?
Well, we sent it to you.
You worked that way. So. I like to trust our committees.
Yeah, they do.
Well, I haven't had time to sit down and compare it to the old master plan. What, anything that you care to highlight? Other than, I keep looking for a new zoning map so I can sign one.
There should be yeah, we need one, what's in there in the appendix, is the old zoning, that's all we have. And we're hoping to get a new one, but not having one, we put in what we have, so.
Okay, I know, Tina Fields was working on updating the, see, this is the future land use.
Yeah,
But this actually should be correct,
Great.
according to the zoning ordinance.
It's pretty close, there's one portion out there, it's actually a PUD, but it's marked as abandoned railroad property.
Okay,
But the map itself is close, but it's not, we'd like to see a new one, but we don't have it, so this is what we had.
okay, well, we can replace the
We can do
zoning
that.
map
We can put the new map in.
at a later date, but we need, even if it's a hand-drawn thing, something we can send to a printer.
Right. That would be wonderful.
Because I know, you just rezoned, Village Market recently, and I think there was another one somewhere.
We rezoned
Ice
the
cream factory.
property where the ice cream place. is.
Okay, and those would need to be updated, I mean,
And a lot of box was requested.
and an ink drawing. I took one down, I think I brought it home to do it myself, but I can always return it to the zoning office, but if you two get together and hand draw it. So that we can update this thing, we can replace it at a later date, anything. It looks good, it looks better than open.
I just quickly perused and I'm really impressed. I love it.
Dan, is there any reason that we've been able to pinpoint where we're losing so many school age kids?
Some of that is attributed to homeschooling. Well, you're talking about school age?
Yeah, because,
Yeah,
the population stayed the same, but we lost a lot of kids.
right, and the growing segment is in the
According to this,
65 plus is our.
we've lost
fastest
22
growing
people.
demographic. But no, there's no particular reason that would
Glad
point
to
to
be
it.
on
I
that
think this has been a trend in a lot of communities.
The school is going.
They're all Ds. Jeez, that's terrible.
The whole country is aging, so we're losing school age kids and gaining older people. But the school itself, the enrollment has declined, and some of that is attributed to.
Restore the Village Center, that's been on there for 15 years.
Mm.
COVID was part of it. Some people did it that way.
Well, I don't see any reason not to approve this.
Did you have the Parks and Rec plan as part of this?
We originally put it in as an appendix B, and it just referred to that. But we just took it out because it's on the website if anybody is curious about it.
Right,
If it's something that the board would like, we can mention the fact that but it's 100 and.
here's the issue, I think when they did the grant app for freedom. Okay, the Parks and Rec Master 5-year plan had to be part of the master plan.
That's up to
In order for the-
26.
Is that still true?
26. We've got, it's good until 26.
Okay, so. Actually, it should be referenced at least as a part of the master plan.
We can put that back in as appendix B. And it won't be the entire one because like I said, it's 100 and some pages long, but it will reference to the website
Right,
that it's available there.
okay,
If that's sounds like it.
but yeah, that just rings a bell in my head. Because I know they came back and said, well, Parks and Rec 5-year plan has to be a part of the master plan, so we can submit the application in the first place. So if that's still true,
To
This-
26.
it needs to be at least referenced in.
We can do that before it sends out. We'll just put that in. I have it on my computer. I can just slip it in there in too. It would be appendix B at the end
Okay.
and just reference the Parks and Rec 5-year master plan.
Okay, and then, when you submit a grant application, you would include the master plan and Parks and Rec 5-year.
Right.
We're still-
All right, I
So
guess I need a motion to approve the new master plan.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
is that with the inclusion of the Parks and Rec as a appendix B?
Yes,
I will second that.
You know, Dan, that Antrim County there on the front page. Fabiano's is in Antrim County.
Nothing to do with it.
well, that's the other side of the river.
No, Fabiano's is in Antrim County.
Yeah,
It is. I just learned that, yeah.
That came from our $10,000.
I know that.
Global reports, yeah.
All right, roll call vote. Tom Beckers?
yes,
Christine Johnson, yes. Greg Bradley?
Yes,
Joanne Childs?
Yes.
okay. Maintenance been done, public's, office admin's not here, so are we finished, Mr.
No.
Becker?
Zoning.
Yes, we'll get that out next week for the 63-day, start 63-day review.
Zoning,
Get the report, as you know, probably in the middle of August, building season started pretty rapid and as it's going, to continue through. So get lots of land use permits, still getting, lots of inquiries on short-term rentals, so I know you guys are working it. A lot of people are investing solely for that reason, or trying to invest here for that reason. Looking at it, made some improvements, like you said, got a little bit more option for enforcement with that lien side of things.
right,
We haven't got to that point, but there's probably one property that we may have to go that route. We have to.
well, and the thing is to wave this in their face. Basically, if it gets to that point for enforcing blight or anything else, and I'm looking at this for the SGRs, basically. Just put some teeth in it, we can attach a lien to a property for failure to pay a civil infraction fine. So when you get into the SDRs, the first fine for a violation is $1,000. All right, that will cover the legal bills for filing paperwork.
Did they change that? Cause I know there was a 500, like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If, you want a copy of the draft resolution or the draft ordinance,
was it more than what?
basically,
I got it.
yeah, that was changed at the last meeting, basically we doubled all the phones.
Well, was that permissible by the attorney? I thought I read something in your email that. They couldn't say we couldn't go up that high because the state. had-
No, basically, what we're looking at, I think it was concerning, the licensing fees. I'll have to go back and look at it. Yeah, but, the fines were, if the license fees $500, I think I had them at $750 and we just bumped them up a little bit.
Last thing, I won't be here all next week.
Okay,
Something planned that's been in the works.
just say so all the phone calls will come my way. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right,
I see on here you want to address commercial permit application fee increases.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it before. It's definitely something we should talk about at some point. Because there is a lot more work, as Dan knows, in the planning commission that goes into approving a commercial operation in the townships.
If you could bring a recommendation, that would be great.
I'll have to look to see if there's some comparables around us,
Yeah.
but for the amount of work and the price that we charge for. commercial
yeah,
operation, It's pretty cool.
commercial business, if you're looking at, a building from scratch, you got site plans, you got, EPA regulations, you got, all kinds of licenses. I remember going through that for Dollar General. And that was like a 6-month process, just to get the plans approved, because we kept sending them back.
Yeah, there's a lot more legwork to it.
Yeah. So, a commercial permit application fees. All right, make a suggestion.
I'll look at the comparables around us.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, Office Angie, anything else?
No, sir.
Angie's not here, maintenance has been done, public safety,
We didn't have any.
didn't have it, and that actually, that committee could, now that we've hired a deputy, should probably be disbanded.
We were gonna review after 6 months of the
Yeah,
sheriff's contract.
yeah, well, that's true too.
That would be next month.
Okay, so now we're down to roads.
I did submit a written thing there. I can answer any questions or go over.
I think I only printed one page of it, and that page was the Huron Engineering, basically offered to do the pavement marking plan for downtown Rapid City for $1,000.
That is correct.
Okay, I would like to put that to a vote if we could right now.
Correct. That's just what I was gonna say. It's right there. There's a motion. I already wrote up.
Okay, motion to approve, Huron's offer for, the 3-lane, pavement marking.
I second that.
We're going from 4 lanes to 2 lanes with a turning lane.
Christine Johnson, yes. Joanne Child?
Yes,
Tom Backers?
Yes.
Fred Bradley?
Yes.
So I have, one other thing on my, list of things. And that is that, I asked John Rogers, this was kind of a suggestion from Joanne, but nonetheless, we've asked him at the road commission meeting if while the equipment is there paving that last little portion of Underhill Road where the new bridge will be and stuff, if they had time and materials available to hit our number 3 road on our priority list, which is a
1/3 of a mile.
0.23 miles of, Walker Road at the Morrison Juncture there where they ran out of
Did
them.
sand pit.
Well, yeah, it is, has been previously paved. It needs a,
A long time ago, when they did Morrison twice, they never did it. And it's really bad. It smelled like oils.
it is number 3 on our list.
Yeah.
After Wells and Zimmerman, that is the next.
Okay, so you're talking about up Morrison, where
If
basically,
you went, like, from Underhill, you could go up Walker, it's a dirt road. The
Yeah.
whole Walker goes up and it's at the very top there.
yeah. So,
My suggestion, Jim, is we also pave part of that road to the right.
Which is.
What's that?
Brockmeyer.
Brockmeyer, and that way
That's
you've
not
got
on
a
the-
paved intersection that they can salt and sand instead of,
We don't go that road doesn't go that far though, we're Walker Road.
I'm saying we do Walker and then we do 500 feet of Brockmeyer. That way you have a paved
Oh.
intersection that they can salt and sand
yeah.
instead of,
The intersection of Hill
Talking
Road and
about
Brockmeyer? Hill Road and Brockmeyer, you mean, the intersection?
Morrison.
No,
Walk.
Morrison and Walker. Walker goes to the left, I think it's Brockmeyer goes to the right, isn't it?
It's still Walker Road.
It's still Walker.
Yeah, I thought Rockmeyer's over goes into Titus,
But
doesn't it?
anyway, then you would have a paved intersection that's gonna be a
Oh,
lot,
yeah.
lot safer and easier to maintain
Oh, yeah.
than. But right now, you go from good pavement on, Morrison, and it's solid and sanded, as soon as you turn to the right, you're on packed ice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Should
that's,
make that corner going north on Walker, just pave it.
Anyway,
that's
the
just-
thought was that we could maybe save some money.
But they wouldn't do it.
Had that, but, John Rogers, just off the top of his head, said, no, we can't do that, Elmer won't do it, but. I'm thinking we should follow up and ask Elmer's if that's something that they're,
Well, I'll investigate it anyway.
Mhm.
But the thing about it is, I know what John's looking at, he's got Rapid City Road to chip seal. Okay, he's got Hoyles and Zimmerman to deal with, so he's got a full plate already, so if
That's
you're
next-
looking at that, you're
that's
looking
what's
down the
happening.
road another year.
That's next year, and we're talking this October when they're doing Underhill Road.
When the Underhill's been done, so basically
No.
it's the bridges and 500 feet of.
yeah, it's everything from the bridges south,
Right.
has to be done.
So you wanna tack that on to the bridge project.
As long as
Well,
Elmer's in
it'd
the
be-
area.
Done at the same time, but
Right.
we'd put the bill for it,
Right,
you know.
If Elmer's can do it.
all right, so if Elmer's can actually do this,
yeah,
then,
actually, until we talk to Elmer's, we don't know if any of this is possible.
Yeah.
If I have your permission to call Elmer's and.
well, certainly,
Okay, good. One other thing too is, River Street, if we could maybe allocate a little metro fundage to come up with like a repair plan for stopping the flooding and the.
you talked about this,
Mhm.
Yes, there's a huge hump when you go over there, you've got school buses turn on that, and it's like,
Don't pull up there with the trailer.
yeah, exactly, so if we just could lower that a little bit, the water would drain, we have all the township hall water off the roof, and the parking lot draining right down that road, and it puddles up in front of those people's house right there.
you're talking about down here in the corner.
Right at the end.
We got-
So, you're thinking of straightening the road rather than putting a culvert in with,
Well, the culvert may be something that we do we're doing the road. is
He just
repair.
asking, what can we do to fix this?
Yes.
Mhm.
He needs money for an engineering study.
Yes,
And-
and I've offered two, different, people there, Brad Muma, project engineer from Performance Engineering, or Rebecca Rivard from Huron Engineering. We could have them, one or the other do it, we're just looking for something that we can put out there for companies that do that kind of work to bid.
Mhm.
yeah.
Right now, we just say, well, we need that fixed, well, what does that
Yeah.
do? Well,
Right, yeah.
So what you wanna do is have an engineering firm tell you how to fix it.
The correct way to fix it, yes.
Mhm.
That is it. And I think Metro Fund will pay for that as well. if you-
Yeah.
It's in
Yeah,
there.
we've got a few buckets of
Or
water.
roads, yeah.
There's 27 in Metro.
They'll pay for the
And
shit,
I would suggest using Huron because we've used them in the past.
yeah.
So do we need a motion to
They have
approve that?
$98 an hour fee for engineering services. Incredible.
Okay, yeah, motion to, approve you're an engineering study of River Street.
Right.
A second.
Water removal.
River Street, yeah.
So basically that'll tell us how to fix it with the problem.
Something to do about it, it's for people.
Okay, Joanne Childs,
Yes.
Christine Johnson, yes.
Uh, do
Greg
we-
Bradley,
Yes, I was gonna say, do we need to put a dollar amount on that, not to exceed? What would you think? 5,000 would cover Jim?
Honestly,
I think
don't know. I
just
think
would
we
be
paid
requesting bids.
600 or something for oils and like 4,300 for Zimmerman, so I would think a little project like this, 5,000 is probably overkill.
you want a dollar?
The engineering study for, Zimmerman Road was 23,000 something, and the engineering study for Hoyles was 18,500.
Yeah, and we got 25 somewhere.
It was 41,000 total. So, I mean, but that's tearing up two roads, actually.
What,
This is
you had
one
another
block,
that we talked
Sorry,
to.
we're.
I would
like
say
almost
up
all the
to-
way through the
up
vote.
to $5,000.
Well, we never did say discussion.
You wanted to just go one way, or we had another person have other ideas.
We can leave it.
Well, actually, request an estimate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
All right, come back with a number.
so we're requesting an engineering study. They're gonna tell you how much it's gonna cost.
Okay, I withdraw my motion.
Huron charges $98 an hour, what kind of hours you're looking at?
Okay. Hey, got any update on when, you're supposed to start October 1st, last I heard, on the bridges?
Right, the parts are gonna show up and they'll be assembled on site
Mhm.
and then installed and put in place.
Okay, so we're looking at in the imminent future.
Any day.
Okay.
That's good news.
Mr. Crandall called me and he said October for sure,
Yeah,
so.
concrete. In there, Jim, first,
I don't think there's gonna be concrete going in.
they're gonna use the old abutments then?
I don't know of any other plans to take that out other than remove the bridge.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
I know they were gonna do some, bank shoring,
there is some bank shoring listed on the thing.
so, but I didn't look at the plan that close.
They're gonna have to do something because it's gonna be double wide instead of single.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do something. Yeah, 2-lane bridge as opposed to
I
1-lane
hope it'd
bridge.
be single, but it didn't happen.
Okay,
A
yeah.
couple other very small things that were mentioned at the road commission meeting. The school crosswalk sign on Rapid City Road by the BP, somebody hit it, took it out, and it was disappeared. I notified the road commission and they had another one up there the next day, so just
Oh.
throw it there. We have
No
somebody
wonder I
else,
didn't notice
a
it.
second citizen on Snyder Road blocking the road. Same kind of area down there off Gillett Road. This one, was it Bauman is the name? Or-
Yeah.
Andrew Bowman. Bowman.
We're blocking the road with
Already
what?
taken a look at it and the road commission is aware.
The other thing, we authorized 2, brine treatments.
Yes, it's already been accomplished, second one's been done.
Yep.
I just paid the bill.
It's already paid for.
Yeah,
That's what we
One
talked.
thing here,
That's
I
the
asked
road
them
right
about
there.
maybe
Push that.
establishing a brush
Wait, where's
and
the
leaf
road?
drop
The
off
road goes through here
location.
and he pushed that up and those
They
things.
all kind of like, heads were spinning everywhere and, they don't have one in the county, but they encouraged me to go to the board of
This is
commission
a stone,
meeting and
that's
ask
the
them
road.
there if we can maybe establish one somewhere. I went to the board of commission last night on Zoom and had some issue going with my microphone, so I wasn't able to communicate with them, but I'll get back to them, see if we can do that. One other thing that John did mention was that maybe Matt's Underground, they have a new facility up there on the end of Plum Valley. They may take tree and stumps and, organic material like that and build. So, that was another option he asked me to call.
There on Wood Road, you also have, top welding pit there too.
Okay. Yeah, another thing I was mentioning, the gravel pit out here, they're done taking gravel out of that hill road, that might be another option too.
Cause it's locked. It's got a lock.
Well, yeah, that's
So
not-
that'll make it easy.
That's pretty much all I got there, other than Chipstone and Pretty Park, which we already talked about.
okay. Parks and Rec, playground equipment. That was, what they want, 33,000 for a match.
Wait, I don't know.
So,
And I have Freedom Park thing. Do we have cameras looking under Freedom Park Bridge?
not yet.
Why, we paint every year, we seem like we painted that, graffiti off.
Actually, I painted that 2 years ago, it's been 2 years,
Yeah, then a year before we did it too.
and it's still
regular basis still going on? Oh, it's horrible.
Oh, they keep adding to it, some of it's pretty good design. It's not bad. Yes,
Does the treasurer's report here reflect the $46,000 payment
the what?
from Sigma?
Oh, yeah, it would.
Okay, so the
Wait,
general fund,
Wait, I'd have to look at the date on when that actually came in.
I remember doing it, looking at it. Because we're always excited to get it, remember?
Yeah.
Was.
$829.
29, so yeah, it should have been on that report, because she did through August. Through the end of August.
So the general fund that shows 76,000 is correct then.
Well, at the, up to the end of August, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't had to move, funds from ARPA for a couple of months, which is good.
Okay, so what do we need to do with Parks and Rec on there,
Well,
or playground equipment for the match?
well, I need you to sign that approving the acceptance. Which, that's just
I thought we-
paperwork. We already approved everything.
Yeah, option 3,
Yeah, yeah.
so this didn't get signed?
They just sent that. Well, actually, like a week or two ago, but after the meeting, they sent that. It looks like they approved Brian Williams to apply for an Eagle permit to modify the kayak launch and address the muck at Lake Street.
We had pictures of it and put it up and Parks agreed that it looks good and it's okay.
Fax number, I don't,
Sorry. Postal fax.
use the fax machine.
Yeah, that's their request, is that we get that paperwork filled out and get the check made out, which I will have to work with Dee to get money back into the parks. She put it in Michigan class. And then we have to figure out how to, I guess will we be paying for the rest of that out of the general fund? The township's portion? What did we decide?
That's something could be taken on the ARPA fund.
No, we already discussed. the
I thought
ARPA
we did
funds already.
discuss that.
The ARPA funds are already committed,
Yeah.
I
The
was
small
thinking that was
increments all the
included.
way through this.
yeah. But I can't remember where we said, I don't think we
I've looked at
did
it.
designate where we were. We said we could take it from here, or we could take it from here, so.
How much was our amount? Let's see, I
I'll have to look
don't
it up.
remember.
It would be awesome, thank you. We'll get the rest of that done, and that will take care of that.
Mr. Lynn's helping us trying to figure out where to put it.
In the minutes.
Okay. Anything else for Parks and Rec?
Looking at, okay, so Parks and Rec would pay 35,000 and 30,000 to be paid from the township. And we did not designate
I don't think we did.
where those funds would be coming from. So, they only need 44,000 upfront, and then the rest we will pay later, so we would have to pay 9,000 from the township, so where do we wanna pay that from? When we send this in?
I know we talked at the Parks meeting about possibly getting it from the ARPA fund.
I know you talked about it, but like we said,
Yeah, I know, I don't remember what you said, but I thought we discussed it here too.
we did discuss it, we discussed that we can't do that.
Because we earmarked like 43,000 per month to be transferred
Well,
to cover our monthly expenses and.
But we haven't had to use that.
but
And in December,
we still have the
money's
rest
supposed to
You gotta remember that we don't have enough money
to
at
get.
43,000 to get us till April 1st. And I know you're gonna say we have tax money coming in, but that's next year's.
That's next year's funding.
I mean, I don't think the next board wants to end up in the hole before they get started.
so we really have to cut spending.
Yeah, we need to have a freeze.
We
Oh, yeah.
have cut spending tremendously. I mean, when you look at the total amount, I originally told you that we needed, I think, 46,000 a month.
Right.
And we only spent 35,
Yeah.
or 36, so we
Because
cut
we're getting money
10,000.
coming in.
No, we cut 10,000 out of the bills. Or out of our expenses, so we're not spending like we have been spending.
Yes.
Anyways, sorry.
Okay,
That's fine.
so what's,
I think
Okay,
I think
here's-
we're gonna have to just go ahead and say
here's,
general
when,
fund.
when does this have to be done?
They need it done, well, they said by October, but
October.
they need.
So you
want it
need
done.
$9,000,
Yes.
okay.
I
Here's
would-
my, like I said, I talked to, Spicer Group. To come out and, give me, a price for doing drawings for the support foundation for the bridge. Overlooking with the retaining walls. Supposed to meet with him this week. There's 40 grand in there. Plus. All right. My suggestion would have been, all right, 5,000 to move the bridge. Okay, which is what the guy told me to put it there. All right, basically. The ballpark figure would be 12 to 15,000. For the foundation and the railing, safety railing. And then the rest of the money, that's 20 grand. The rest of the money I was gonna suggest to the board be given once the landscaping is done. Be transferred to Parks and Recreation.
I would have to look at the original
Now,
agreement down there because there was something. When we made that agreement that said that any balance was gonna be used for something. And I think it did for.
so I have to dig up the,
The Parks
I
says,
do have, I have one suggestion. I did in the ARPA, training that I just did yesterday.
you can transfer the rest of it.
It said that we could take the interest that's been earned from the ARPA fund in Michigan class and move that to the general fund. So we can go back to the beginning,
Right.
the establishment of that fund and pull all of that interest and put it in the general fund.
That's been 3 years.
the plan, the Parks had agreed and the board agreed on the plan of where that bridge is gonna go. But where it was gonna go, it's gonna cost so much for engineering studies in that. We don't have to put it there, we can move it back up further where it's not high up over where you have to have an engineering study. It's gonna cost so much money.
So that's my recommendation, is that we use the ARPA interest to cover our cost for this playground.
Okay, we could do that. But yeah,
That's my motion.
once I get Spicer out there and come up with a game plan for that, that's kind of like half on and half. The thing about it is the bridge platform should be the same elevation and finished grade as that pavilion floor. So that we can use a wheelchair or
Wheelchair
walker,
accessible.
basically. And it's an observation platform, so it needs to be as close to the river as we can get it without intruding with the 50-foot setback from the high water mark. So all of that has to be taken into consideration before we even get a price on what it's gonna cost to come up with a set of plans. So we'll meet with the guy next week.
Are you gonna show him the parks plan of where it was proved to put it?
We have a motion on the floor. Motion to transfer the ARPA interest into the general fund to cover the township cost of the playground equipment. Made by myself, seconded by Bradley. So Tom Backers,
Yes,
Wayne Childs.
Yes.
Greg Bradley.
Yes,
Christine Johnson, yes, thank you.
and I also suggested, I don't know where it would be at, just somebody review the agreement we made in federal court for that fund to be established. See, that was a lawsuit. So,
you're talking about, the bridge?
right,
Yeah, the
Yeah,
60,000 that we got.
I have a copy of the original court order,
right.
okay,
And I think in the end of that, there's something mentioned, if I remember right, about any balance could be used for park maintenance, right, something.
okay, yeah, I'll have to look at that, I haven't seen it.
We talked about and agreed to put something down at that access, a bench or a platform or something. where
Well, I know
people
that,
will
that's a
visit.
separate issue.
Hmm?
Okay, basically, the south bank still belongs to
Us.
Mhm.
us, so.
We just need to know what we can do with any balance. What we do with it is another issue.
Right. So, yeah, but, yeah, if I can get that,
We still need the handicap area there, and I've talked to Mr. Stevens, and he's not gonna recommend that at all.
that's a separate issue.
That places.
But that's money too, huh?
Yes, I understand that. But, yeah, as far as getting the bridge set, there should be about $20,000 left over. Anyway, that's my thinking, but. Okay, moving on, anybody want to recess?
We're close to being done, aren't
It's
we?
9:30. Okay, STR review date, we've done. We would need, then to come up with a CEO job description, which basically would be pretty much the same as the zoning administrator, only separate from. Basically, his primary responsibility would be to administer and enforce the STR. But when he's not doing that, he can help out the zoning administrator, so they'd be working together. Computer tracking program, Andy's come up with a source, I've got a couple other ones that we need to get, into, basically, because this is gonna be a nightmare to administrate. So, a lot of these programs are, and I wanna look at MTA, I think MTA suggested one too. Basically, built-in software to load it up and plug in your numbers and your, information. Should have everything from the application to, the guest advisories for, as far as your ordinance goes. Tracking of the licenses, the application fees, so anyway, that's next on my list. When I get, some pertinent information, I'll bring it to the board's attention. The October budget workshop date, we've already decided on October 5th, 9 AM, at some point. Hall fire garage roof, I have 3 bids here for, ice shield shingling and the repair of any aluminum siding and soffit material. I don't know if you have all 3 in front of you.
Who's one I couldn't open? I don't know what it was, but I was hoping.
Yeah,
Separate.
that's Story Roofing.
Okay, I did get that then. it
Okay.
came separate.
And then you've got Do All, which is a single page.
And Billy White. Why is Billy White roofing 2 separate bids?
Does anyone have?
Because they did a separate bid on the garage and on the hall.
Okay.
Okay, they're different work descriptions,
So this
and I
is
did
the-
send out my statement of work, which was the requirements of everything that needed to be done, so that there were no discrepancies in the bids.
Is there any reason we can't use a steel roof?
This is big.
It's already been out for bid, so.
I
It
agree,
lands.
but if we could get it done.
And I'd like to get it done before the rest of the roof falls off this winter.
Is it
I've been picking up tabs for 2 years off that parking lot.
Right.
And the major thing was getting that flashing over the entry reseated. See if that stops the, exterior cracking of the blockwork. Because I think that's where the water's getting. I've fixed the floor leak, and that was pretty simple. Pulling out that concrete pad, which stunk and was pitched the wrong way and directing all the water off the roof into the foyer.
So do all is just
Thank you
the
for coming.
garage.
Okay, they did the siding.
This is.
They want, for the same work, they want 8765
What's this, I didn't get a dollar amount, story.
on the story. Should be the last
I
page.
see one here. It's
Actually, that's all three of them.
7350. That's outrageous. Both those
Wow.
prices are high.
I mean, you have 7350, 8765, and then the last one is 5620. So,
Can we put it out for bids one more time? Or do we have to do it now? That's a lot of money for a little roof.
720 square feet. It's-
Yeah, I
That's
did my
right.
whole house for 70.
Yeah, but you're looking at my field and the siding,
oh, this is the garage and the entry,
yeah,
the 7350 is for
7350
both.
from story.
Oh, they did it together.
Yep,
That's the whole wall wax.
All right,
and Dual did only the garage. Okay,
Did you all do
Yeah.
two separate ones?
no,
1864, so Billy White roofing, the grand total is like 7420. That's the one with, two separate. They separated the roofs.
5620 and 1800.
Story roofing is 7350, so those two are close. Do all is,
Dual is just one,
$1,400 more for the,
for just the garage. Dual's just the garage.
Right. It's a, it doesn't mention anything. It says fascia grade and roof on garage.
that's in them the same statement of work.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't say roofs, it doesn't say,
The only thing it says is soffit fascia and a roof on garage.
and it doesn't differentiate between.
Oops.
Okay, so I would consider that proposal incomplete.
7350 and 7420.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about like $80.
Yeah.
Pick one. Okay, who's local?
Well, that's what I'm looking at. You got one out of Jackson, Michigan, one out of Gaylord.
Yeah,
If you got a issue with their work and trying to get them back up here, it might be.
it's gonna be closer to Gaylord than, so I need a motion.
I'd make a motion that we go with Story Roofing out of Gaylord for 7350.
I would like to know if Dual meant this to be for both.
He's still high bid, so, but he's local,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
well, let's put it this way. I sent them all the same statement of work. That's separated both roofs. And does it say anything about the flashing on here? No,
No, I don't see.
no,
Okay, so, all right.
because that, I believe that's where the, wall loop is coming in. So if you eliminate that possibility, then you can repair the wall.
And how would that be paid?
And that's a good question too. I need to get it done before the snow flies. So. I know maintenance doesn't have any money left, right? Right, all comes out of general fund in.
Yeah, that would be general fund and.
Okay, so it's
Yeah, we
50% down
haven't
and
done
50% when it's completed, so we're looking at, $3,700.
Okay, we can do that from the general fund.
Right. So that would be the down payment. Either way,
Okay,
Okay, so you liked, Jackson, Michigan. Why would he be whizzing through traffic?
Yeah, I see his sign plastered all over the place, so I.
Yeah, well, Angie said, she's seen him do work around.
All right, I will second that motion then.
Was that for a story,
Yes.
Gaylord?
Any other discussion, any other questions?
Actually, it looked like $70 cheaper. That's pretty close. So these guys actually knew what they were talking about, so.
Who's that, Story?
Yeah, both of them, Billy White, I mean, to be that close, you know, they're looking at the same materials and they're looking at the same labor,
Same square footage too.
yeah. So,
Are we ready
Might be the
for,
same company.
ready for a roll call vote?
okay, yeah, I would have guessed, and I don't know where he's located other than his address is Jackson, Michigan, so. Roll call vote on Story.
All right, Joanne Childs?
No,
Okay. Greg Bradley?
Yes.
Kristen Johnson, yes. Tom Beckers?
Yes. So we get the roofs fixed before the snow flies.
Roofing is not cheap.
And all that aluminum is falling off the garage, and then the only thing left is, the door is intact, so, Craig has dug up some white base that we haven't, didn't have tinted for the gray on, that building. So I'm gonna go out there, next week with the rollers and paint that door white myself. I don't even think I need a drug test to do that, do I?
Let me look.
As long as you're not up on a ladder. That's everything but office addition committee,
What's that?
office addition committee you have on the agenda?
Yeah, that was, I think, Jim, you sent a list of names.
I know Jeff West is interested and so is Ryan Williams.
Okay, basically what I wanted to do was to make the committee official.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Jim LaFew has volunteered to chair that. Unless that's changed,
You got some spare time?
it hasn't
All
changed.
right.
That's how we do.
Motion to establish a committee to investigate the office, the new office addition. Again,
You get it done this
To
time.
investigate, is that? That's kind of strange wording, investigate.
okay, for a product of our choice of, call me. Basically, I was looking at a lighter gray shingle, something that's
Oversee.
not black and not white. And then, all the aluminum trim's gonna be white anyway, so. I will call these people. I'll
Okay,
call all of
I'm
them.
still working on your, your motion here.
So the creation of the
Establish a
office
committee.
remodel.
For the third time and it's.
Well, I would like to see somebody on that committee that works every day of the week. In that office. Yeah.
Oh. Jim.
I mean,
When are
everybody's
you
names of
thinking?
mentioned are all
Yeah,
business.
decided that, yeah. I will volunteer to be part
I
of
mean,
that.
you need to look at the makeup of the committee. I'm not
Yeah,
against
well, you're gonna
something.
be on the new board anyway, and this is.
Yeah.
This is-
Just carry on.
Jim and I can work
I mean, the
together.
first committee was formed like 7 years ago. And
We
they
need a
brought the
second on that
plans.
motion. Do we have a second? I will second that. Okay, fine. Since you're not doing it. Is that a roll call vote? Is
No,
there a
all
second?
in favor,
Aye.
Aye.
opposed,
Jim.
Jim's the vote. What? What is this?
That was the estimate that they sent me for the repair on the broken valve on the sprinkler system off the pump, which was spraying inside of the pump house with
Oh.
water.
Oh,
Okay, now you should have got a bill for this.
okay,
All right, and this is valid.
I think,
I'll check.
I completed it.
And he also said the rest of the pipes need to be replaced in that, but I wasn't worried about that, just fix the damn sprinkler system.
Just one.
Yeah. So he had to replace a ball valve, 2 inch.
I didn't pay that, 607.64. It wasn't that much.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, if you got that bill, it's paid.
Yep, it's paid.
All I was asking.
All right.
Closed session, if requested any public comment. Yes, sir.
I need some help. I'm looking for the board to help me out, some education. I made an observation. And the observation that I've made in the community is there's a ton of properties out there that are being used for camping.
Yeah.
And so I did a quick look, it was just an hour of driving around today. I live on Arwood Trip, so I walk it almost every day. There's at least 8 properties, probably closer to 10 to 12, but I'm safe saying with 8 properties that are camping there pretty regularly, especially during the summer for hunting season. Either in tents or trailers or both. On Harp, there's at least 2, I think, this is questionable, that are trailers are being used to live in. On Arwood Road, there's 1 or 2. On Valley, there's at least 2. Pine Circle, there's 4 or more, I think. This is just observation driving by, so take this with a grain of salt. On Plum Valley, there's 2 that I can tell. One is as you go across the bridge on Arwood Road, turn the corner, it's the first property on the right. They camp there pretty regularly all summer, leave the picnic tables or the portage on there all summer long, etc. All of these areas, I believe, are R1. R1, single family dedicated residential, where camping's not allowed.
Right.
This board has nothing to do with it, really, Mr. West has nothing to do with it. It's been allowed in the community,
Right.
just go. Does the zoning ordinance mean anything here? I would think yes. Is it gonna be enforced? And if not, why? Now, I am empathetic to some living areas of people, that's what they got, I get that. But that's, maybe there's a special disposition that can be made or something, but when we've gone to the trouble of zoning the township, but then not enforcing it, what message is that giving? That's sure. That's my observation. I'm looking for any feedback,
Okay.
anything that would educate. me.
And how long has this unenforcement been going on?
Oh, long time.
Well, I live.
So people have grown accustomed to ignoring the zoning
Yes.
ordinance.
Yeah,
Okay, what did I say the first meeting when we took this board took over? I picked up the zoning ordinance and said, this is either going in the trash or we're gonna enforce it. And we've started to enforce it. Now we're getting this pushback from the community. Now, those campsites, I've been watching them too, okay? This STR ordinance gives us the authority to go over there and say, hey, look, you're violating 2 ordinances here. You're either living on the property, managing a commercial business, in which case this property is R1, it's permitted, but, all right, or if you're renting for less than 30 days, and if it's not a leased thing, it's in other words, that camper isn't rented for the entire summer to one person, in which case you're conducting a commercial enterprise, maybe we should rezone your property. The other thing is, if it's less than 30 days, you're violating the STR. We have to pass the STR
well,
to go in there and say, you owe us $300 for an application to operate that campsite. And $500 a year to run it for the license.
I don't think these are renting. I think these are people that
They-
own.
Okay, I think could be, yeah.
A lot of it. and they just come up and camp, or Uncle Bob comes up and
Mhm.
camp, or whatever that might be.
That's fine.
Which is, I think that's what that is. I don't think, I'm guessing, a lot of this is not gonna fall in the SDR. So
Right.
they are camping on the property
Okay.
in zoned areas that.
And if it's, then you enforce the zoning ordinance.
Well,
Mr. West,
Right. Okay, yeah, well, that's,
it's a big task.
that's on my wife's list of pet peeves too, so. Because they keep popping up. You see a 2-track cut into
Right. Yeah.
a piece of land.
I can't see
And if
it.
you look far enough back, there's either a pop-up camper there or an RV or something. Yeah,
I've got a guy that lives across from me, he's got at least 2 campers there, his family comes up there and spends several weeks in the summer.
one step at a time. The next big project is the blight ordinance.
Oh,
Okay,
that's bad.
Oh,
all of these abandoned, snowmobiles, ATVs, lawnmowers, pickup
Yellow
trucks.
bus on.
Yeah, you know,
For years.
and you've got abandoned, mobile homes. You got, abandoned, buildings, barns and sheds that are actually safety hazards,
Right,
and not to mention health hazards in some cases,
Yeah.
and they're being used by the homeless people. Archie Kale moved that trailer up, right at the end of, Plum Valley Road, and in 3 months, all the windows were broken out.
so what can the township do?
well, let me,
Or what is the township willing?
I lived in Pine Circle Drive for 40 years, okay? And I fought these camping people all the time, okay? And they've got wised up to our slowness, okay, let's call it.
Yep.
They know if they show up on Memorial Day weekend and they go home after Labor Day, it starts the cycle all over again. You know what I'm saying? And, I took 2 to court in there. Because we had subdivision rules and campers are not allowed.
Well, you've got an active subdivision with the administration.
Everybody thinks we don't have meetings. It is a platted subdivision registered with deed restrictions.
That's right.
And land,
It has a covenant that's involved.
and,
Yeah.
has nothing to do with having.
And here's the deal, once you try to,
What can we do?
once you start trying to enforce it. This is what, ordinance, zoning administrator number 4 in 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Adam Parts had quit, okay? So I filled in for 8 months and did the best I could, and mostly I was looking at site plans and doing
Yeah,
land
that's
use.
a lot of other work.
Okay,
aside from just
all right,
this.
yeah, but I'm saying. And then we had the infamous Jordan Acker, okay, who's now doing, but the remainder of his 4 years in Jackson State, for investment and fraud. Okay, and then we hired, oh, God.
Mark.
Yeah, Marvin.
Marvin, Lisa.
And basically all they did was put on a dog and pony show for the STR for $2,500 and collect $49,000 a year. And that was about it.
And then you had Guy Malton back there too.
Right.
We didn't have him.
The biggest,
I did.
most of these are just single family, it's.
Okay.
trailers.
I believe John West is doing a good time. He's trying to get, and he's running
He
into
just
problems.
started,
And he's running into problems already. I said, okay, how do I be nice? And then be not so nice? And then how do I really put any teeth behind that? And that's what I just got him. Okay, we start writing tickets.
Okay,
Okay, now, people ignore the tickets. Okay, now, we go to the court, we put a lien against their property.
mhm.
Hi, here you go, we own part of your house. All right,
So, here's the biggest one, and I think this one is going to cross over to some other things that I don't know anything about. And that's on Plum, every Labor Day, he has that big party. Pond Jam. I think it is.
yeah, that's Archie's.
There is 2 or 3 nights of, I'll just say 100, I think it's 100+ people there. Camping, doing what they do, I don't think anything bad happened this year. Last year, a young woman wound up in the ditch on Arwood Trail, way down, like 2 miles away from where that's going on. She said she was from there. The sheriff wouldn't give me any information about it because it turned into a health issue. So it was under the HIPAA thing, so they couldn't say anything to me. But that was a problem, no car, no nothing. She was in the ditch. Some guy saw her legs sticking out of the water, out of the ditch, in the weeds. Horrible. But what goes on there, maybe he's been doing it for 20 years, I don't know. But that's gotta violate more than one issue of camping. I mean, is there enough porta johns there, is there safety, what about fire regulations? What about all those people being?
Noise.
And possibly noise. I'm far enough away, I don't know if I hear
Well, I know I was,
There aren't any close neighbors there.
it. Maybe not, but that, you can't put 100+ people together without pulling this permit, that permit, and this inspection, that in any other township or city. I'm thinking,
it's a,
how can that get go by?
you know,
It's got 17 acres there.
if you
That
divide,
doesn't,
if you,
now, he's in R1, Mobile.
Yeah,
It
but
goes into
Just-
R1
just
and
a thought.
agriculture.
if you divide your attention 20 different ways, you don't come up with any solutions.
Yeah.
Okay, how, have you noticed in the past 4 years that the atmosphere as far as junk, trash,
Yes.
abandoned cars, tires,
Gotten better.
has there been any improvement in this community?
Yes.
Okay, we're working on it, that's
Yeah.
all I can tell you. And the more you divide your attention, the less you accomplish. So now the blight ordinance is in place, the noise ordinance is in place, we get the STR in place, and we start enforcing these things. Then when the zoning administrator goes out and says, you know, guess what? You're violating this part of the zoning ordinance or this part of that or this part, and I'm trying to be nice here. But if we don't have to be nice, we can be very nasty too.
Well, but to your point that you said about the sheriff's report, the conversation comes first. Resolve with that. Second conversation gets a little tougher. Third conversation.
Yeah, be nice until it's time not to be nice.
Yeah.
So,
Firm.
But I don't think any of these properties, no one's talking to them. Not that there's been time to, not that there's been anyone that had the opportunity to do that. Is that something, can be requested?
well, you know,
I don't know.
basically, that's actually a state police issue.
The-
Yeah, when you throw a campground together that size,
Oh,
now
yeah.
you're getting into a state issue and
That one event.
they would need like a festival permit or something
Right,
from.
and there's lots of festivals that go on in the state, he might be able to pull a festival
Right.
permit, but what does that entail?
Yeah.
He's not doing anything right now.
The thing about it is, it's been going on forever.
Yeah.
It's a once a year thing. All right, we have other fish to fry that we're trying to get done. I'm telling you, I will be so glad.
And
And-
then
and-
actually the community would be very disappointed if that were to
In
be
61
But
days,
to an
when I'm no longer sitting in this seat,
very disappointed.
and I can sit in your seat.
Remember I said I started to talk.
Okay, yeah, I know.
I have a question, I want to be
But-
educated, that was how I started.
I know you appreciate the fact that I answer emails.
Yes, you do, God, no. I
Okay,
feel very.
and I'm
confident.
probably the first one in a long time that's been doing that, and I answer every last one. So at least you get a response out of me, whether it's something you like or something you don't.
No, and that's very much appreciated.
Okay. Any other public comment?
28.42 acres, not cheap.
Is it really?
Yes.
Hearing none, motion to adjourn?
Wait. You know, when you drive through Walden, it says no boat trailer parking. That is a township ordinance, okay? And it's good to court cases. I would like to see that we pass a no parking ordinance, boat trailers, vehicles with trailers,
Right.
500 feet in both directions from the Arwood Road boat launch.
Oh, man,
Yeah,
I live right there.
But I'm just telling you, I check the boat launches every weekend.
Yeah.
And that That whole boat launch is,
And you brought that up in the door and I forgot to write it down.
Here's the last one.
I'll get it this time.
They have lots of land, they can make a lot of boats,
but yeah, I mean, that, you
get them off the road.
have to force the DNR issue. You
Well,
need-
yeah, I
You
mean,
need to take a boat for a trip to the park, the state park.
did they ever finish that other half of the lot? Expand that parking lot?
Well, this is my point right here. Go to Hilton Lake and Higgins Lake. They both have 4 state-run boat launches. They're all paved, they're all made.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very nice.
I know, so long they put a nice one in about 5 years.
Maybe we should.
So what
apply
do we
for
do, write a letter to them? or-
DNR.
Why do you create that ordinance? What do you do to do?
Okay, well,
I get a copy of all this. First, only the township, and then, you force the DNR's hand to do something with the acreage they got down there.
yeah,
Yeah. Can we write a letter? and-
Pass the ordinance and put the signs up. That'll get their attention.
yeah.
Oh, you're
Then
right.
it could be enforced.
The voters,
And they're getting money, I believe, for that, for.
Well,
lights.
those boat
Yeah.
launches are paid through for boat registration
Mhm.
and boat gas. So they're being taken over by the kayakers that pay absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
But even,
well, that's
isn't our,
something,
And that's,
isn't our park
Bring
permit
us some wording.
state for
that
that
just
too?
gives you access.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
How,
Yeah.
excuse me, how did the Milton, the other, torch like that one's gonna be worked on all summer? How did that get approved? That's all gonna be done?
Yeah, that's all done by the state.
yeah,
All done by the state?
Yeah. that would be,
Michigan Waterways Commission.
Yeah,
that would be, basically, hopping on the DNR and getting them to expand that parking lot like they're supposed to, and put a ranger in there that can actually write some tickets. And then we can, basically no parking, no vehicles with trailers or whatever on both sides of that street.
both sides, yeah.
And the way they got away with it, they had a start date and an end date. It's not banned all year long.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. So put that in your,
Holiday weekend through Labor Day weekend.
okay, motion to adjourn at 10 PM.
That's it.
10 o'clock.
59.
My
Nope,
computer's like.
up there it's wrong.